You know the expression? You know the expression? They come after us from every angle. They're after us. And we're here, and they're not. Here I am like an idiot. Here I am like an idiot.
Dumps. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Here I am like an idiot.
I felt really good almost after taking it.
Here I am like an idiot.
Again, the words are conditions.
Michigan gave us Motown. Gave us Motown. Gave us the Mustang.
They said, oh. I didn't read, obviously.
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges. I've been involved in the two greatest scams in American history.
Action replays in magnified portion.
Here I am like an idiot.
Action replays in magnified portion.
Free health care for illegal. Where's Dick? Hi, Dick. You like Dick? Yeah. What?
All right, I got to start the show. Hold on, I got my my blue blockers on, and mainly I forgot to do a bunch of things before I came on. Largely because at my feet, right here, right there. Who is it? Who's right there? I can't even stand in front of my desk properly. Excuse me 1 second, if I may. Hi. What can I do for you? What can I do for you, big boy? Huh? What's a big boy doing? How's he doing? Look at this lovely boy. Look at the boy. What's a boy to do? What's he doing? He's such a happy cat. Is he okay? Are you okay, Chipple? Are you okay? You have an okay day? Yeah? Are you mad at me because I didn't sit on the couch with you? Because I've been busy? I've been working? Are you upset? Are you? Yeah. You've forgotten that I'm here. Anyways, hi everybody. Welcome. He likes to sit like this too. He likes to sit. Yeah. Hi. No, you can't. You can't jump down, silly. What you licking? What you licking? I just gave you a snack. I'm not giving you another one. I'm starving. I'm gonna die. Look. All right. I got a show to do, man. Go bother Camden. I was doing the setup of the show, like leaning over my desk, trying to like move around behind him, like setting things up like I do, and I'm like trying not to step on him, and he's like he's half between just like laying there grooming himself and attacking my foot at one point. Yeah. Let's see. Miss Melissa Terry says, I'm disappointed. I met two Trump supporters today, a dentist and a dental assistant. One is African-American and the other Arabic. Very kind to me. I'm shocked. They said they like him because he's not a politician, and the dental assistant said he helped her business on the side. She's a notary. I don't get it. She also said they do not want to help others and things should not be free. Well, That's what I said. Don't start thinking that people just automatically on your side. They take some convincing. You can't. I have hair. Hair all over. Hi. So, yeah, look at that. That's not right. Hold on. I don't even have my roller in here. This is just sad. I'll be all right. I'll manage. Hi, everybody. Welcome. And thank you, Johnny Million, for the raid. Hi, buddy. At some point, like we tried to do this like play online thing where we can play together. We're gonna need like a fiber optic line that goes from one house to the other for that kind of duets thing. It's interesting to me that I discovered after we tried that the technology, a lot of jazz musicians use it, and I think that's because the timing doesn't matter. I think they just kind of like, well, I was feeling something else than you were feeling. You're like, nope, it's just a lag. It's like Chris Matthews latency. That's right. It's Chris Matthews latency. Johnny Million was hot today. He's hot. So yeah. Sorry you were napping. I'm sorry you were napping too. I'm not sorry you were napping. I'm glad that you actually had a nap. Anyways. Oh, shut your face. What'd I do? Go full Fabio. I kind of am, aren't I, today? I mean, this is a full Fabio do. I got a new hair dryer and I love it. So be prepared for more down hair as long as it's not hot. It's been cooler lately. When it's hot here, what do you think of the Chinese spy base in Cuba? They started it in 2017. It's bullshit. I'm not worried. They're not gonna. It's not gonna do shit. Honest to God, it didn't help the Russians any. It's like, come on. I tell you what, let's sell them Guantanamo and give them that fucking can of worms. What do you say? You should try a flat iron. I do have a flat iron. I like it. You've seen me use a flat iron a couple times. I'll have you know. Tennessee Romeo, we would love to interview you. Cool. Reach out. I have a hair raising show. It's true. How about the Vegas alien? 8 foot tall. Looking good. I'm excited. I hope they come back. I hear they love Formula One, so we'll see him in the fall probably. A shirt hanging open, wind blowing Fabio. Oh, I see that kind of idea. Yeah, that's a bit much this time of year. I'll at some point. Well, I'm not against it. I want to see Hal Sparks in a top knot. I like Jet. God love him, is always trying to get me to do a man bun. I just because the chicks dig it. I can't. It's just I got too much. I would like to say, if I may, a moment, point of privilege. I want to send some love out with CSL and the rest of the staff and the folks that kind of work tangentially with the show to Mark Kremer, whose father passed away. I just want to say love you, Mark, and we're all sorry to hear about that. And big hug, and do what you got to do. Take the time you need, and yeah, that's all. I mean, words really can't. They lack purpose sometimes because feelings are more important. So I just wanted to say that, if I may. Yeah. So that's it. Anyways, big hug, and we'll see you soon, hopefully. Anyways, okay. That's it. Okay, back to this. And people are sending love in the chat. Is great, and people are a little bit behind, so there's going to be a mix of hair stuff and condolences, which is not anyone's fault, because there's the delay. There's that jazz we were talking about. So yeah, where are we? Praise for Mod. Yes, praise for Mod Mark. Yes. No man bun. Nope. Okay. Top knot. Right. I've got some calls for top knot. Little too Gene Simmons. Don't go Crystal Gale length. Don't tell me what to do. Man bun on each side, kind of like Princess Leia. Is that what you want? Okay, folks, 4 days to make up. I'm watching Wednesday now. Crap, all mixed up. There's a lot going on, Kat. Just push it aside. It doesn't matter. If I may, let's jump straight into this, because Trump, he gave a speech on Saturday that was like his, precursor to the indictment. This is after the indictment was released, so people could see what it was made up of. And then he went in and pled not guilty. got his fingerprints scanned. They did not take a new mugshot. They just took a picture of him. He got to, I guess you can now, in the age of Instagram, Trump's a true influencer. Oops, hold on. I've got to start this recording. Trump's a true influencer. He can submit his own picture. He wants to get his lighting just right. I'm ready for my close-up, Your Honor. So in this, we did get, a response after he got arrested and finger scanned, which I think, we're going to get, like, I guess fingerprinted still works because you're still taking the prints. You're just doing it via computer. So I'm going to go with fingerprinted, although future generations may go, we do finger scans now. We do iris scanning. But he had to send in he got to submit his own picture. But then he went down to wherever the shit he was and went to Bedminster and gave a little short, relatively short speech in front of, they arranged a bunch of ass kissers to sit there and watch him bitch about this. And can I just say, this is I think the Forbes site. A bunch of people posted this, RSBN and others. Former President Trump delivers speech after pleading not guilty in federal court. Can we just enjoy that for a second? Feel that, enjoy that, like that. Here we go. Breaking news. Trump mercilessly, this is what they titled it though on their thing. Trump mercilessly unleashes on Biden in speech following arraignment in federal court. Ooh, he gave him such a wording. After legally having to show up someplace and getting fingerprinted. He told Biden a thing or two. I'm sure Biden's shaking in his shit. Here we go. All right, so let's enjoy. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the face of a man excited to tell his supporters what a great time he had pleading not guilty in federal court and getting finger scanned. Get used to that. I'm having a great time. I gotta say, that's what it looks like. It just looks like he's, keep yelling USA. It's covering the sound of.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. It's a great honor to have you here. And today we witness the most evil and heinous abuse of power in the history of our country.
I don't know. I think anybody who's had their civil rights violated by J. Edgar Hoover would disagree. And what was that other thing? Oh yes, slavery.
Very sad thing to watch.
Not really. I gotta say. I mean, I tell you, it's always a matter of opinion, but nah, not at all.
Sitting president had his top political opponent arrested on fake and fabricated charges of.
What did he do to DeSantis? Oh, right. You mean right.
Of which he and numerous other presidents would be guilty. Right in the middle of a
By the way, this is the best quality of this we could find. This speech be available out there, and there's still a mic buzz on this. Nice quality control, assholes.
Presidential election in which he's losing very badly.
Yes, very bad. It's terrible. Yes, it's when you ask 50% of Democrats and 50% of Republicans what they think, 50% of those 50% tell you that they like Biden and Trump about the same. Now, the problem, of course, is that 50% of Democrats is millions more people than 50% of Republicans. But whatever.
This is called election interference, and yet.
No, this is called trying to get out of a ticket by saying you're running for mayor. Asshat, we're a year and a half away from the election.
Yet another attempt to rig and steal a presidential election. More important.
Excuse me, attempt. we were successful last time, and I don't know what this Reagan attempted horse shit is. You're not in office, are you?
Importantly, it's a political persecution like something straight out of a fascist or communist nation.
Either one, really.
This day will go down in infamy.
Yes, and you guys, and I'm sure you're all students of history. You guys all know that political dissidents in fascist and communist countries often get to fly out of state after they were arraigned and give a speech at one of their private properties. They're always allowed to do that. Oh, that was Fidel Castro would insist. And Stalin had this thing of like, if you didn't have a golf course to make your speech at, if you were a dissident, he would give you a golf course. He would make the people make you a golf course. To each golf, golf according to his needs.
Me and Joe Biden will forever be remembered as not only the most corrupt president in the history of our country, but
not even close.
Perhaps even more importantly, the president who, together with a band of his closest thugs, misfits, and Marxists, tried to destroy American democracy.
By winning an election and not letting the former leader leave with classified documents. Okay. And everybody's like, boo, kinda, hey, it's a fiery crowd.
But they will fail and we will win bigger and better than ever before.
And Mussolini face, I do my Mussolini face. I'm posing for my coin now.
Charging a former president of the...
And after Mussolini face, I go back to 8-year-old book report body pose. And after they get done...
United States under the Espionage Act of 1917 wasn't meant for this.
What the fuck? Yes, it was. It wasn't meant to stop private citizens from having classified documents at their private homes that they rent out to strangers and hire foreign staff to work at with no background check of measure. It wasn't meant for that because... But then I guess the Second Amendment wasn't meant for machine guns either, so never mind, just erase that.
An act for a crime so heinous that only the death penalty would do, and...
No. We have lots of people that have been convicted of espionage that we didn't kill, stupid.
Threatening me with 400 years in prison.
No, they weren't threatening you. That's what the charges call for. That's like him saying, I threatened them and told them who's boss. I threatened the Biden administration that if you don't let me keep these things, I'm gonna throw myself in jail for 400 years and it's gonna be your fault.
For possessing my own presidential papers, which just about every other president has done.
Except they aren't yours, dumb fuck.
Is one of the most...
He's probably going to bring up the Clinton socks thing, where Clinton had recorded his own conversations for a memoir, and the idea around that was, well, why they litigated it was, unlike the recordings of everybody in the Oval Office, which were surreptitious recordings, meaning that Nixon and the other party, Nixon didn't let the other parties know they were being recorded. So it technically fell into surveillance records. Clinton, these were interview tapes and his own recordings of his own voice. Everyone was a consensual member of the recording, a word Captain Grab him by the pussy has a problem with. And so the judge found that he could keep them. I don't know, Trump has he brings up the infamous socks case every so often, and he just does not understand the fucking difference.
Outrageous and vicious legal theories ever put forward in an American court of law.
Yes, who would have thought something so crazy that a former president would not be allowed to keep national nuclear secrets in his shitter with a cheese ball lock on it?
The Espionage Act has been used to go after traitors and spies. It has...
Okay, so it is appropriate. I see.
Has nothing to do with a former president legally keeping his own documents.
You're right. And that's not what you're being charged with, fuckhead.
As president, the law that applies to this case is not the Espionage Act, but very simply the Presidential Records Act.
No. You're not charged based on that stuff. You're not charged based on you just being a dick and withholding your Kim Jong-un letter, dumbass. Does anybody actually think, besides like the folks that are standing there, nobody fucking believes this.
Which is not even mentioned in this ridiculous.
Right, because it's not about your personal fucking handwritten notes that you wrote. It's about battle plans and nuclear secrets and information on foreign leaders that is not fucking yours.
44-page indictment.
Yeah, I wouldn't mention that it's a 44-page indictment if I were you. If it was 2 pages, I'd go, oh, these are trumped up. They can't even fill it out with details. 44 pages means there's a lot of fucking footnotes in this, dummy.
Under the Presidential Records.
If you don't believe me, by the way, I read the whole goddamn thing on the air, and you know, it's like it is the book on tape most people prefer. I may have to do this with other great works of literature, like the Durham Report, or I've done minor positive versions, of course, with like the Paris Accord and other things, but
Act, which is civil, not criminal.
Right, which is why this is a criminal case and doesn't have to. Yes, we know this. That's why I don't know if this asshole understands that if you cheat on your wife, you can't be charged with domestic violence like you can if you hit her. You see, both are. Marriage is a civil union between people. Okay, I thought we settled that.
I had every right to have these documents.
Nope, apparently not.
The crucial legal precedent is laid out in the most important case.
Which documents? Which ones? The classified ones, or just the rest of your fucking Time magazine covers or whatever? Because I think that is the one, besides this, of course, not being under oath. I think the one big thing missing from this idiocy is I had every right to store the nuclear secrets in my shitter. And I mean the bathroom with the chandelier, not my actual poop hole, just for the record. That's where I keep Putin's watch.
On the subject known as the Clinton socks case.
Has nothing to do with this. Again, consensual recordings for the purpose of creating a memoir, not national secret documents. Ugh. And by the way, they're laughing about the Clinton socks case because they think they're talking about the cat. I think.
You know what that means?
You know what that means. But if you don't, I'm going to tell you.
After leaving the White House, Bill Clinton kept 79 audio tapes in his sock drawer.
His sock drawer.
Christopher Columbus. Christopher, huh?
Yeah, he had a good sock drawer.
Again, the words are conditions.
His sock drawer. He kept these in his sock drawer so that the Confederate soldiers would not seize upon his nether regions, his private documentations in his sock drawer. And that's why MAGA means something to me.
They included discussions of U.S. military involvement in Haiti.
Yes, the kind of stuff you would put in a memoir, not secrets.
Discussions of U.S. foreign policy, both defense and offense.
Yes, decisions he made about stuff that had happened already.
Against Cuba. Recordings of President Clinton.
Against Cuba. Yes, he talked about the Cuban Missile Crisis and how he might have handled it because he was a kid when he met Kennedy. Read the fucking book, dummy.
His conversations with all of the many foreign leaders at the time. Think of that.
Oh, think of that. Oh, run that by me again, stupid. Hold on one second. God damn, this buzzy audio. Really not much to do about it.
Recordings of President Clinton's conversations with all of the many foreign leaders at the time. Think of that.
Okay, think of it. not true, but think
Sensitive
of it.
facts about trade negotiations taken from presidential briefings, discussions with the Secretary of State about
Okay, again, still details about like, well, China makes this and we make this and they were trying to do this and we wanted this and yes, that's. Were they taken from the sensitive documents? No.
conflict in Bosnia and much, much more.
Yes, it was kind of the kind of thing you would put in a memoir when you're president.
Very big stuff.
Oh, big stuff. Past tense. No longer applicable to anything. Certainly not a future military plan. Like a retaliatory plan for attacking Iran if they attacked Israel or us.
Not only was Bill Clinton never even considered for criminal prosecution based on the tapes he took, but when he was sued for them, he won the case. Judge Amy Berman Jackson's decision states, under the statutory scheme established by the Presidential Records Act.
Statutory scheme? Oh, fucking, like, wait, can this guy have, like, can his asshole lawyers just screw this up more? Good Lord. Okay.
The decision to segregate personal materials from presidential records is made by the president during the president's term.
Yeah, that's not even in question. This has nothing to do with that. The president, at no point could Bill Clinton, if Bill Clinton had included in those tapes, him dictating what he saw verbatim from classified documents, not his opinions, not his own ideas about, what he was going to put in his memoir because he knew as president what was classified, what wasn't, what reached a certain level because of his own clearance. If he was just reading verbatim, just like he snuck into a fucking skiff with a recorder and just read verbatim from he would have been in as much trouble as you are, dickhead.
And in the president's sole discretion.
No. And by the way, the sole discretion, he's like, it's the sole discretion. Yeah, but you got to let people know. You can't just go, oh yeah, no, backdate that. Oh, by the way, I pardoned all those guys. Did I not mention that? Yeah, it was in my head while I was president, and you don't have any proof that I didn't think of it, and I don't have to put any proof because it's in my sole discretion, so.
You're surprised to hear that, aren't you?
No, we're not. Well, I'm not surprised to hear you say stupid shit.
Any normal administration, even an opposing one, would consider that to be the end, but not the corrupt Biden administration. The Sox decision, as it's known.
Yes, the Sox decision, as it's known.
Also,
it's not known. We always talk about the Sox. You guys talk about the Sox decision, all right? Yeah, the idea that if you have two socks and they've got different pads on them, like one gray toe and one gray heel, and you can't see in the shoe that they're different, it's a pair of socks. I've made that decision many times.
States, quote, the National Archives and Records Administration, or NARA, does not have the authority to designate material as presidential records. I don't have the authority. NARA does not have the tapes in question, and NARA lacks any right, duty, or means to seize control of them.
Does he mean Clinton's tapes or his tapes?
This is law.
Is it?
The president enjoys unconstrained authority to make decisions regarding the disposal of documents. That's unconstrained to make that decision.
Yeah, except you have to do it while you're president, fuckhead. And if you know you can't, there's a process to declassify, and you don't go through that process, then you did not even exercise that unconstrained ability. End of story. What the fuck is wrong with this dude?
Neither the archivist nor Congress has the authority to veto the president's decision. The Presidential Records Act does not confer any mandatory or even discretionary authority on the archivist to classify records.
Nobody. Okay, all right. This is a smokescreen argument. This is this is beyond moving the goalpost. This is setting up a tennis net in the middle of the fucking football field. Let's just pretend it's a whole different game.
Under the statute, this responsibility is left solely to the President of the United States. Think of that. That's the decision. Think of that. Now, just think of that.
Yes, we're thinking of that. This we're not talking about shit that's your notes or your ideas or any of that stuff. You can't just take classified documents and say they're mine now. This has nothing to. These are two separate issues entirely. Nice try though. Nice obfuscation. The idea though is that he believes that he can define anything as his own presidential record. Anything, any information that happened while he was president or that he requested during his time as president before he was president, or any plans for the future that might extend out past when he's president, suddenly he can claim these are my personal records. All I got to do is sneak out with them. This is just like idiocy. Ask any Republican, is that how you want shit to work? So first of all, the fuck you looking into Biden for? He's president now. So he can retroactively give himself sole discretion. And Obama, signed an executive order allowing Biden to classify and declassify documents on the same level as the president. Which, insofar as I know, Trump did not rescind. So Pence could have used it, but he didn't. Or maybe he wasn't even aware of it. Maybe it was written to the extent of just his presidency. But this isn't the actions of the archivist. This isn't NARA at all. These are simply classified documents that this motherfucker walked with.
In other words, whatever documents the president decides to take with him, he has the right to do so. It's an absolute right. This is...
No, it isn't. Oh, and here's the thing. Here, let's say he has the right while he's president to take these documents off, outside of secure grounds because he needs them. President, there's a asteroid headed towards Earth, and they're gonna divert it hopefully with a rocket, and they've got to put the president on the fucking base of the moon, and he scoops up a bunch of shit he's gonna need about how to defend ourselves against people who are going to try and blow up the Earth if the asteroid doesn't beat him to it. And he scoops all that shit into his briefcase, and he doesn't need permission to walk it out of the skiff at the time because he's got to get to Moonbase Alpha, and they haven't set up a skiff up there because it was just an observational facility. And now that it might be the new capital, but we got to go, Mr. President. You can see that thing. Don't look up. Anyway, so he runs out with a bunch of that shit. Even in that process, he is maintaining their classification while they're in his charge. Unless he actively declassifies them, says, I as president say these are now available for public consumption, which is a whole different thing than just I can carry them anywhere the fuck I want. Maybe that's true then up till the day you're not president anymore. And then that day, fuck you. You don't have the right to them anymore. Because you're not designating them as personal records anymore. You're saying that in my care anywhere I am, they are not, the classification bubble around me is this fucking big. That's his stupid legal argument.
The law, and that is something that people have now seen, and it couldn't be more clear. They ought to
it's clear as mud.
Drop this case immediately because
they ought to drop it. They ought to, because they got to drop it before they play that tape of me saying I know I can't declassify these things and they're not declassified. And can I just say, for a moment, point of order, Mr. Chairman, I'm fairly certain I'm the only person that's floated this rebuttal to his stupid argument. I've not seen anybody cover this fact that he's like the president has sole discretion to say, I can declassify these things, which he didn't do, and nobody's even going to argue that. But the idea is that anytime they're in his care as president, he can take them anywhere he wants. He doesn't need your permission. He can't define national secrets as his own, as the presidential record, because then, God forbid, it would just be a nightmare. And he knows that, and so does everybody else. The idea that he could have these things anywhere he wanted while he was president, though. He does have discretion even to be a complete fuck-up. He could be a liar and a fool. But once January 20th comes around, 21st at noon, he no longer has the right to carry those anywhere he wants, because he's just back to being a private citizen. So unless he declassified those during his time for public consumption, from that second forward, he is a average citizen in possession of classified documents. You don't even need to make this argument, but I would like to say that I'm fairly certain I'm the only person clarifying that little stupid concept. Like, ugh. It just needs... It needed the whack-a-mole treatment.
Because they're destroying a country.
Because they're destroying a country club. They're destroying a country club. I can't get loans anymore. They're destroying my ability to get a lawyer.
And this is why no other president, even those who kept far more documents than I, has ever been even investigated, let alone charged with a crime.
First of all, yes, they have. Where do you think the Sox case came from? An investigation that led to the government suing for those things because it was a civil matter under NARA. There was an investigation about that. Where is this shit, and should it be? And obviously they didn't go in there with a fucking magnifying glass like some sort of Sherlock Holmes cartoon, but they investigated the fact that he had them, the fact that were they possessed at any time as a point of the government, were they recorded surreptitiously, all that kind of shit. So there was a course of an investigation. There's an ongoing investigation about Biden's document. There was an investigation into fucking Pence. Of course there's been investigations into other people about records that they had. Post-Iran-Contra, George H.W. Bush, Bill Barr helped him with that one. He had written in his journal details about what the plumbers did, what he knew, how his arrangements of it, what Reagan knew, and Bill Barr helped him argue that was personal. Those were his own notes and did not contain any kind of reference to a document in what he was doing. It was just him journaling for his own soul. Which is, by the way, the root of why the Sox case that he referenced, had no chance.
Crime. Because the sham indictment put forward by the Biden administration included staged photographs of boxes at Mar-a-Lago.
Ooh. Staged photographs. That's pretty incriminating language right there, dummy. See, because those pictures were taken by Walt Nauta or one of your employees, sending pictures back and forth. And if they were staged, that means either one of those people arranged those boxes in a way to show you or another party that they were there and available to be picked up, moved, and shuffled and rifled through. I know that's not what you mean. But
People have asked me why I had these boxes. Why did you want them?
Is that what they said? Why did you want these boxes? Why would you help me out with this? I'm starting to want you to go to jail, and I don't have enough money to get this picture of you riding a pterodactyl lasered off my chest.
The answer, in addition to having every right under the Presidential Records Act, is that these boxes were containing all types of personal belongings, many, many things, shirts and shoes and everything.
Shirts and shoes and everything. Because everyone packs their clothing in file boxes. Secondly, no. And the fact that you had classified documents buried under shirts and shoes and everything just means it's another awareness of guilt. He was hiding this stuff on purpose. Good Lord.
As can be seen in the picture where someone, not me,
citation needed.
Wonder who it might have been.
Walt or your assistant, they were picking some stuff up and it fell over.
Dumped one of the very neatly arranged boxes.
Dumped one of the very neatly arranged boxes full of classified material.
All over the floor. They were full of newspapers, press clippings, thousands of pictures, thousands and thousands of White House pictures.
Yes, some of them satellite photos that would be classified.
The White House photographers, some are with us today. They took so many pictures and we saved all of them and they were in those boxes.
Yeah, nobody cares. Dude, we're talking about like 200, specifically 200 documents in 30 boxes. And 30 other boxes have fucking disappeared.
Clothing, memorabilia, and much, much more.
Yes, it's the much, much more part that I think we have the issue with, because in that much, in between the much and the much was much top secret information.
I hadn't had a chance to go through all the boxes. It's a long,
Yeah, you know, anytime after a move, I mean, it's just forever, you know.
long, tedious job. Takes a
It's a long, tedious job. Walt and I did it in, you know, the only time I could find any time to go through those boxes was after they had been subpoenaed and before my attorney came back to look. It's the only, I'm a busy guy. I didn't have time before that. I was golfing.
long time, which I was prepared to do, but I have a very busy life.
Yes, I've had a very busy life, golfing and then speeches and then calling into Newsmax and then complaining on social media and truthing on the shitter.
had a very busy life. They make it more busy because you're always fighting.
Really? What were you busy doing? What were you busy doing?
And under the Sox decision, there seemed to be no rush. I wasn't in a rush because that decision was law.
It was law. No, you were aware that you did not have the right to those things. The law did not allow that at all. You had gotten a subpoena for a fucking reason. You had ignored this and not responded to it for 2 weeks. And then when you spoke with your attorney to come back and look at it, in between that time, 64 boxes were moved out and 30 moved back in. Where the fuck are the other 36?
The other picture that was so vile, you remember that one? It was angry and corrupt, was the photo staged by the FBI. And those that raided Mar-a-Lago, they were...
I'm sorry. I honestly thought he was going to do the boxes in the shitter. Staged terrible. The other angry, awful photo where they took all these boxes while I wasn't there and stacked them in a bathroom and took them. No, I did that. I'm sorry. I did that. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Putting documents all over the floor. Remember?
No, they didn't. He put these fucking hell. Shall we? Why? I mean, why do I have to deal with this dickhead? Okay. Let's see. This is the picture he is talking about. Right here. This is the guy right here. This one, dissecting 7 pieces of Mar-a-Lago photo. So these are the things, and they had to black them out or whatever. Okay. That's the box it came from. All of these documents were stuffed in between these photos, these covers, and the like. Taken by the FBI, the photograph shows several documents labeled so-called classification markings. These government codes are designed to indicate the sensitivity that they refer to, the rules for how it is meant to be handled. Although the contents of more than 100 classified documents were recovered from Mar-a-Lago remain unknown. The government markings on this handful of pages offer intriguing clues about the sensitivity of them. They go through a bit. One Time magazine covers these are not classified, but they were apparently placed among classified documents. While Trump would have been allowed to store magazine covers in a secure government facility, he's prohibited from keeping classified information in an unsecured storage room. That's not the point. The point is, in their move from the White House, he had a box full of these fucking things that, when you lay them down, fit inside it. And inside, underneath these things, if you looked in, you lifted up a couple of the frames, this shit was stuffed in between those pictures. That's it. And so when the FBI agent said, this is the box that is associated with these items that I found, here's the ones, I spread them out as much as I can, because some of them, since we're taking a picture, can only show so much. And 2A is a relation to the boxes found in this second area or this second box. And there's if you'll notice, there is a T-square right there on the ground to show scale. I think they even say that right there. For ruler placed by the FBI shows the scale of the photograph, which is standard practice for photographic evidence. That's the whole point. In all those boxes that came out of the White House, in between and under memorabilia, this asshole stuffed in intentionally with full awareness all of these classified documents, put them in between these things so that if somebody opened a box like, oh, this is just framed pictures, put the top back on and fuck off. That was, again, he tacoed the whole thing. He tacoed everything. And if you don't know what tacoing is, I'll use this piece of, like, this is some lovely stuff I've gotten from the Santa's campaign in the mail. So here's the thing. Let me show you how this is done. You guys are smart. You'll figure it out. I've got a document this big. I want to sneak it out of the place. So I taco it. And I walk out with a newspaper, and I can even gesture around and go, I got this. Anyways, I'll see you guys later, okay? And then later on, I go out someplace and walk by a garbage can and do this. And then somebody comes and gets it out of the garbage can. That's how you taco something. That's how you taco a document. Taco documents. It's Taco Tuesday. I don't know why the fuck. Like, look, I understand you don't have to. You can. It's fine to be dubious about stuff, but you don't have to be completely naive all of a sudden. They don't have to fall back into. What do you mean spies? Spying doesn't happen like that kind of, like, get the fuck out of here. So aggravating. But that's the picture he's talking about. This one right here. And again, these are the documents that the FBI agent that was in charge of searching that box found between these frames or under them, but hidden in this box in between frames. They weren't on top. Pictures were. And stuff between them was this shit. And then they show this is all in this box, and here's the card that goes with it, and that's the case. And nowhere was it like, look how messy he makes shit. Nobody thinks that except this idiot. Asshole, nobody thinks they just dumped the box on the ground. They searched through it. These are the ones they found inside the box. Fucking hell. Famous. And why does nobody say that to him? Okay, I know there are a few news people that watch my show. Hi there. Hello. Can you please work it up the chain that the next time one of you interviews this guy or gives him a fucking town hall he does not deserve, can you please push back on this FBI? You keep saying that the FBI strewn documents are, they laid them out because those are the documents that were in that box, and they just have to reference them with the box they were in and take a picture, and that put that little T there that shows both the size of the documents and what they are associated with. Nobody was saying you scattered them on the floor. What that picture seems to show is that you hid those documents amongst the memorabilia and believe that would be a way to sneak it out of the White House. It looks like you were sneaking things out of the White House in between your pictures and memorabilia, hiding those documents intentionally amongst those things. No one thinks you spilled them on the floor. Everyone realizes you had those documents hidden amongst the memorabilia. Explain yourself. Please, can somebody poke him about this?
Picture all over, say confidential, said presidential, said all sorts of things.
Yes, they said presidential. They called me presidential. There was a document in there. It was from a secret recording of Macron. The one time he would had a lot of wine, and he said I was very presidential. So I copied it along with his financial documents and where France's electrical grid has its weakest points, and I kept them in a folder for old time's sake.
And it was supposed to be there like it was that way when they raided. It wasn't that way. They put them.
No, it wasn't. This is so fucking dumb. No, it wasn't. Nobody thinks that, stupid. You're not on trial for being a slob or a hoarder, you dick.
there took the picture and released it illegally to the press.
Okay, first of all, no, they didn't release it illegally to the press. What's the crime in releasing the picture of those classified documents you had hidden amongst your fucking Time magazine covers?
They took my medical records, my passport, my birth certificate, and apologized.
No, they gave those back. They didn't apologize.
They even brought a safe cracker.
A safe cracker? That's a tractor that you use to pull the door off a safe. I love safe tractors, especially the ones in cars when they did. Remember? Yes, the safe tractor.
This is a professional safe cracker they brought into Mar-a-Lago.
Well, I'm glad they didn't bring an amateur. And the irony is, they wouldn't have even needed a professional. It's Ivana's birthday and her breast measurement in descending order.
And they broke into my safe, and you know what they found? Nothing. There was nothing there.
Right. You didn't have classified documents in your safe. You had them in your desk. You had them in fucking cardboard boxes. You had them in the shitter. You had classified intel everywhere except your safe. That's nothing to brag about, you asshole. If he said they looked in all these boxes and the only classified documents they found was after they brought in a professional safe cracker and broke into my safe and found some classified documents that were my personal records but were classified technically, and I was in an argument about them, but they were in the safe where they should be because while we're working this out, I wanted them kept safe and not our. No. What a jackass. No.
Nothing there.
Right. The classified documents were on a stage in Pine Hall. They were in the shitter. They were in an open storage closet. They were in the shower. They should have been in the safe, you fucking idiot. It's the one place, like, it might have even taken a little bit of effort for Anna de Rothschild or that Chinese spy that climbed over the wall or any of the number of, like, foreign dignitaries and their staff that snuck in there and went, excuse me, where's the bathroom? The one with all the boxes. Might have maybe just slowed them down a little bit instead of just bursting into the door. Oh, there's a copy machine right here. Fucking hell. I don't even know why I took James Bond classes. Zib-a-zib-it, zib-a-zib-it. In comes Walt Nada. Hey, what are you doing? You're not photocopying your ass on there, are you? No, just secrets. Oh, good. Okay, it's cool. Trump has a germ thing. Like zero. That's not good, stupid. That's not good. You realize this fuckhead is bragging. He's bragging that the only place they didn't find classified documents was in his safe. I'm losing my mind. I don't understand. This is madness. Okay, it's a fucking spun. This is so weird. Why? Why do you think that's good?
According to the Presidential Records Act, which was a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's so big. According to the Presidential Records Act, anything that Nixon said, waved his hand over like the devil over a flower bed was magically his. And so I don't think he should have. He shouldn't have resigned.
I was supposed to negotiate with NARA, which is exactly what I was doing until Mar-a-Lago was raided by gun.
No. No, you weren't. No. You were negotiating up till the point where they said, all right, enough is enough. There are too many strangers coming and going, and the Secret Service protects you. They do not protect Mar-a-Lago in general. They're gone when you're gone. They do a sweep of the place when they come back, but they pretty much just trust the local security there. They're by no means protecting that storage closet. They're not protecting that shitter. They're not protecting your bedroom or your closet or any of the other places you hid it. They're not in charge of the safe.
Toting FBI agents. I have seen
gun-toting FBI agents. Right. the camera toting.
Security tapes of it. I gave them security tapes of everything.
Uh-huh. Yes. And that's what got you arrested, because it's those very tapes that show that after he blew off the NARA multiple times, when it was discovered that they had classified documents that they had not been forthcoming about, they subpoenaed him for any classified documents he might still have that are not declassified, and he said, okay, we'll get back to you. Blew him off for 2 weeks. When they finally had to get his attorney to sign off on something, he swapped out boxes and then told his attorney, go in there, all the stuff's in there, look in there, and then this is all the stuff, yeah, and sign off on this. The fuck out of here.
In a flagrant violation of the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, which protects the right against unreasonable search and seizure.
What are you pointing at? It's completely fucking reasonable. You were filmed taking some of those boxes away after the subpoena to Bedminster, where you are right fucking now. What's he? I don't know what he's pointing at. Fourth Amendment, you said it. That's the guy. He brought that up. They're frisking him right now.
And Sebastian, you covered very well, I must say.
Oh, that's who he's pointing to. Sebastian, somebody.
Very well. I'm not the one who thinks I'm above the law. I'm the one that followed the law. I'm the only one.
I'm the only one who sat upon the document shitter. I'm the only one who followed the law. You flouted the subpoena, fuckhead.
It's Joe Biden and his corrupt Department of Injustice who think they are above the law. Never.
Well, I got news for you, dipshit. According to you, because Biden is president right now, he is. Because you seem to think that when you're president, you have all kinds of superpowers where you can blow off all kinds of stuff and ignore any law that gets in your way. And if that's true, then you have no criticism of anything that Biden is doing. The irony is that he isn't doing any of that shit.
Before have the two standards of justice in our country been more starkly?
Yes, because if you were poor, you would be in jail already. If you were a reality winner or you were anybody else, you'd be under the fucking jail. You'd be, Donald John Trump defendant, convicted and sentenced to 42 years.
Revealed. Joe Biden had troves of classified documents from his time as vice president and even as a senator.
Even as a senator, which he took out while he was vice president, during which time Obama had signed an order saying that he has the right to classify or declassify documents. And according to him, they're fine as long as you're president. Well, I guess what? Biden's president right now. So, poof, you aren't.
Which was completely and totally illegal. In fact, other senators heard about it.
Did they? And they were like, shit, I better give mine back too.
Durbin heard about it. You have to see his response. There's no way that's totally illegal. Took him as a senator out of a skiff. They were shocked when they found out. They actually thought it was impossible to do.
But you showed them. Also, no. His documents from, quote, his time as a senator were removed when he was vice president. They were in his possession from then, because he was put in charge of stuff, by the way, that, building relationships and doing jobs that he had cultivated during his time in the Senate. So he was looking at things to deal with senators that he worked with, internal domestic business. Yeah. Happy birthday, Trump. Yes, this is a perfect birthday present for him, having to talk about his indictment.
Sent 1,850 boxes to the University of Delaware, making the...
No. The 1,850 boxes didn't go to the University of Delaware.
Search very, very difficult for anybody.
Yes, you know what is true about the boxes that they had there? They haven't moved during the time that the government has been looking at them. Nobody came in the middle and went, oh, we're going to move these for later. What time you guys finish? 8 o'clock? Okay, I'll be back at 8:05.
And he refuses to give them up, and he refuses to let people even look at them. And then they say how he's behaving so nicely.
No, he doesn't. Now, again, hold on. Let's take a look at what he's talking about. Okay. Let's So, this would be the okay. Okay. Biden's Senate papers are housed at the University of Delaware. Let's show you what this is. Here you go. I'm going to blow this up a little bit so you guys can see. The claim: Biden is hiding 1,850 shit, blah, blah, blah. There he goes. President Biden withheld 1,850 boxes of classified documents from his time as vice president. This is what they're saying. Okay, AP's assessment: false. The National Archives and Records Administration themselves says the boxes of files referenced in that figure are actually Biden's Senate papers, which are housed at the University of Delaware. The federal agency told the Associated Press that files of Congress members are considered their personal property and are not subject to the same restrictions as presidential records, which are considered government property. While the FBI has searched the Delaware University records as part of a larger search for classified documents, there is no evidence they were withheld from authorities in any way. The facts: as former President Donald Trump faces federal charges for illegally hoarding White House documents, illegally possessing classified documents. I guess White House documents is too narrow because some of them are Pentagon documents. Anyways. All right. He was repeatedly drawn comparison to 1,850 boxes of government records kept by President Joe Biden as proof he's being unfairly persecuted. By the way, Biden's got 1,850 boxes. He's fighting him on the boxes. He doesn't want to give the boxes. And then he says Trump is obstructing. On social media, supporters have echoed that figure. Joe Biden's withholding 1,850 boxes. A popular tweet compared the allegations Trump's to Biden's 1,800 plus boxes. But the 1,850 boxes referred to in these claims are being falsely conflated with classified documents from Biden's time as vice president, which have been found in other locations, such as his former offices in Washington and his Delaware home. Instead, the university documents are from the Democrats' many years serving in Congress as a U.S. Senator from Delaware. According to the National Archives and Records Administration and the University of Delaware, Biden donated the files to his alma mater more than a decade ago. Daniel Holt, an assistant historian at the U.S. Senate Historical Office, also cited the Chamber's website, which states that the records created and maintained within a senator's office are the property of the senator. The website also notes that senators typically donate their files to a research institution in their home state after leaving office, and their valuable primary source materials for foreign affairs, public policy, political science, American history, and other studies. David Super, a professor of law and economics at Georgetown University's Law School, agreed with the comments from the university and the two government offices, adding that the documents Biden provided to the university aren't subject to the Presidential Records Act, which Trump and his allies have frequently invoked. First, as its name implies, the Presidential Records Act covers only presidential records. By the way, the classification of what can be seen and held by Biden as a senator and what the president has, there's a huge difference. Because not every senator has that kind of clearance. Not every senator has the right or can hold on to documents like that. Mr. Biden was incapable of creating records of his own presidency before he was elected president. That's a good way to put it. As vice president, some of his records might have been PRA covered, Presidential Records Act covered, because of his work for President Obama, but I have not seen any information suggesting those boxes contain any such material. While the records are not currently available to the public, there is no indication Biden has resisted the FBI's efforts to review or retrieve documents from the university, nor any other location where the agency has been investigating, added Super. Indeed, the White House disclosed in January that a lawyer for Biden had located what was described as a small number of classified documents from his time as vice president during a search of the former office space in Washington. The documents were turned over to the Justice Department as were an additional batch found at Biden's house in Wilmington, Delaware. The FBI found even more during a subsequent search of his home. By the way, a volunteer search. He asked them to do the search. He didn't decide, okay, I'll do the search and let you guys know, which is exactly what Trump did with Bedminster and Trump Tower, which is the fucked up part. We'll get to that in a minute, because he's talking from a place where he took dozens of boxes after the subpoena was given and before his attorney looked. Peter Botham, a spokesperson for the University of Delaware, similarly deferred questions to the Justice Department, which oversees the FBI, but he also noted the university has created a website with additional details about the Biden Senate papers in its holdings. More than 1,850 boxes of archival records arrived at the university library in June of 2012 and cover Biden's nearly 4 decades in the Senate, from 1973 to 2009, when he resigned as one of the longest tenured senators in U.S. history in order to become vice president. An agreement between Biden and the university requires that the collection not become public until it is properly processed and archived. The website states, until then, access is only available with Biden's express consent. No such person has visited the collection since November 2019, and no documents have been added or removed during any such visits it adds. By the way, none of them are secret. None of them, and the FBI went and looked at them and hasn't found anything secret there. Super notes that nothing in the public statements about the collection over the years suggests there's anything detrimental to national security contained in them either. He was found to have some classified information in his office, but the quantity was far less than the 1,875 boxes. So if we are going to talk about Mr. Biden, we should be talking about actual sensitive documents, not the gross volume of documents that he had, since it was about years in the Senate. It's just dumb.
Many of Biden's classified documents were in Chinatown, D.C. Chinatown,
D.C. Chinatown, D.C. Okay, let's look at that one too. Hold on. And we'll see what he's referencing, because I think it's the facility that they rented to go through stuff. Let's see. Biden, Chinatown documents. We'll go through that part of it. Let's see. He's a visual word document. And here's why. All right. There's no question DC's Chinatown neighborhood still bears cultural markers reflecting its once large Chinese American population. The city has been assiduous in about preserving them, about maintaining aspects of Chinese culture in the area, even carving out a part of it to the house, the distinctly non-Chinese sport arena that hosts the Washington Wizards and Capitals. Hold on 1 second. Control plus. Okay. In 2019, the Washington Post explored how rising rent and broader gentrification had reshaped the area over the preceding decades, pushing out many of the older Chinese families in the process. It is still observably a Chinatown and home to cultural celebrations during the year, but is no longer overwhelmingly Chinese. Something to keep in mind when you hear former President Donald Trump invoking it to simply nefariousness on the part of the President Biden. It's Chinatown, it's China, which, by the way, a lot of Chinatowns in the United States are now Vietnamese town, and even though it still looks Chinese, the Vietnamese moved in there and Chinese people moved to the suburbs and picked it up. Look at Chinatown here in LA versus Monterey Park, for example. He's done that more than in past. Okay, there were his comments after the arraignment, blah, blah. Joe Biden took massive amounts, more documents, even moved many boxes to Chinatown. Then on Wednesday, he released several brief videos on the social media platform he owns. One repeated similar allegation. So when will we be looking at the documents, many of which were brought into Chinatown? His vice... Men sent to Boston. Is this why China paid him and Hunter Biden millions and millions of dollars? Yes, because Chinatowns, according to Trump, are now satellite mini nations of the Communist Party. Great. Compiling a list of common phrases Trump has been using, but the claim comes from an interview conducted by the Republican majority on the House Oversight and Accountability Committee. That committee, chaired by Rep. James Comer, has made investigating Biden and his son Hunter a top priority. It has subpoenaed financial records to depose various people who work. One of the staffers is Kathy Chung, who worked with Biden while he was serving as vice president under Barack Obama. According to the news release from Comer, today we learned that when Joe Biden left the vice presidency, boxes containing classified documents, vice presidential records, and other items were stored in 3 different locations around Washington, D.C. area, including an office near the White House, an office in Chinatown, and eventually the Penn Biden Center. At some point, the boxes containing classified documents were transported by personal vehicles to an office location. It's not immediately clear how or whether Comer or Chung could affirmatively state how many, if any, the boxes transferred from Biden's vice presidential office contained classified information, or whether that information was actually classified as opposed to being marked as classified. This is a central distinction in the case involving Trump, as lawyers signed a statement that no documents with classification markings remained at Mar-a-Lago, which is, again, builds on the lie that they have. This is this sort of transitive rhetoric. A box had a document marked classified, an office had a box, ergo the office had marked document, has been a staple of Trump's efforts to equate his actions with Biden's. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that at least one box with one document marked as classified was moved to the office in Chinatown. So the next question arises. It's not hard to parse what's happening here. Comer and other Trump allies have focused heavily on payments made from Chinese entities to Hunter Biden and his business partners, supplying the relationship, blah, blah, blah. Trump's been looking for some way to tie Biden to China for a while, and obviously the American Chips Act, the Chips and Science Act, rather, fucks that whole thing into a cocked hat. Ukraine publicly asked China, Ukraine publicly asked China to release derogatory information about his likely 2020 opponent. Didn't get that. Blah, blah, blah. Going to Chinatown. Maria Bartiromo cited a Daily Mail article claiming that Chung had been recommended for her position with Vice President by Hunter Biden. We don't know what she knew about the classified documents. We don't know if she was ultimately reporting back to the Chinese Communist Party. Jesus Christ. She's born in South Korea. She's a aide to Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. Her last name, Chung, is she's Korean. Sometimes names can lead people to make grotesque, incorrect assumptions about things, it turns out, and sometimes names can afford an opportunity for insinuations that they think will score political points. Oh, dear God, the dumminess of the dumbness. Okay, back to where we were. In Chinatown with a Korean lady and who works for a black dude now. I'm just saying.
Which is shocking considering his family receives so much money from China. I wonder how many times the friends of ours from China review those documents. Chinatown, D.C.
I don't know. How many times did the Saudis and Anna de Rothschild and I guess any number of foreign nationals who work at Mar-a-Lago with nothing, like on a fake ID, how many times did they gone into that storage room or used the shitter or been in your office or your foyer or Pine Hall?
Others were unsecured at his so-called Penn Biden Center in Washington, which...
No, they were in a locked closet. They were secured there. They weren't found until years later. They'd been under a bunch of stuff. Yeah, anyways.
Paid Biden approximately $1 million a year. The money supposedly coming from China and still other classified documents was strewn all over his garage floor, where his now famous...
By the way, he's still mad about the spill picture. That's what that is. And again, some of the boxes from his time in the Senate or the vice presidency, like a couple of them were in the garage. But insofar as, hold on, let's see. I just want to check one thing. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, this would be okay. The White House confirmed Thursday at here we go. This is what was in the garage. Hold on one second. I'm gonna blow this up for you guys so I can show this as well. So I think it's worthwhile. Here you go. White House confirmed Thursday that more classified documents from President Joe Biden's time as vice president were found in the garage of his home in Wilmington, Delaware. Came just hours after Attorney General Merrick Garland named a special counsel in the Biden Document Center. Asked about the discovery after the remarks of the economy, Biden appeared to downplay the security risk. I'm going to get a chance to speak to all this, God willing, soon. But as I said earlier, people, and by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage, so it's not like it's sitting on the street. But as I said earlier, people know I take classified documents and classified material seriously. I also know we're cooperating fully and completely with the Justice Department's review. As part of that process, my lawyers reviewed other places where documents from my time as vice president were stored, and they finished that review last night. Echoing an earlier White House statement, they discovered a small number of documents with classified markings in storage areas. And again, these aren't classified documents at that point. At this point, they're just classified markings. He's giving up all the ones with classified markings, and he may get them back. Trump, on the other hand, Trump even may have gotten some of the ones that had classified markings back if he'd just given them over and received them again, if he'd requested them. But he didn't. Okay, storage areas and file cabinets in my home and my personal library. The Department of Justice was immediately notified. Lawyers arranged for the Department of Justice to take possession of the documents. Biden's comments came on the heels of a statement from the White House special counsel dealing with the matter, following the discovery of government documents at the Penn Biden Center in November 22, and coordinating closely with the Department of Justice. The president's lawyers have searched the president's Wilmington and Rehoboth Beach, Delaware residences. The other locations where files from his vice presidential office might have been shipped in the course of the 2017 transition. The lawyers completed the review last night. During the review, the lawyers discovered among personal and political papers a small number of additional Obama-Biden administration records with classified markings. All but one of these documents were found in the storage space in the president's Wilmington residence garage. One document consisting of one page was discovered among stored materials in an adjacent room. This was... it doesn't say the number. It just says a small number. A small number. I'm guessing below 10 would be the idea. Single digits. But until we know better. After Garland's announcement, the special counsel, Sober, put out an additional statement calling the matter a, quote, mistake. As the president said, he takes classified information matter seriously. As we've said, we have cooperated with the moment we informed the archives that a small number of documents were found, and we will continue to cooperate. We have cooperated closely with the Justice Department throughout its review, and we'll continue the cooperation with the special counsel. By the way, at no point have you seen anywhere, and this kind of deals with the shit that we were talking about. Have you guys seen anywhere where Trump has cited the Delaware documents and anything where Biden's like refusing to give those up. Now, the only way I can think that this dickhead got the idea that Biden is refusing to let people see those documents is that he has to give express permission for private citizens to look through his papers while they're there until they have entirely been scanned. There's like a big process where they're archiving them, and then you can go through and touch them with your grubby hands. But until they've scanned and stored and put in the cloud all of them, then nobody gets to go near them. And these are things that are not classified. None of the stuff in there is assumed to be, or even said to be, or even accused of being classified. But because it's legislative papers and budgetary notes and shit like that. So, he has to give individuals permission to go through his shit. And I bet there have been a bunch of people in Trump world who have tried to get access to those documents. Not the FBI, not the DOJ. They can look at them anytime they want to. They don't even need they've already got permission from both Biden and his lawyers. That's already happened. His lawyers have issued a statement. He's issued a statement. They have complete carte blanche to look at any of the stuff, any of the boxes he's given, anywhere that they moved around to look for stuff. So no doubt they have a couple of people over there going through stuff or have already gone through it. And at no point was anybody, we found a bunch of shit. There was a giant box full of nuclear codes at the University of Delaware. Nobody's even said that. Nobody even alleges that. But the reason Trump says that Biden's not, I guess, being forthcoming about them is probably because there's a bunch of Dinesh D'Souza types who've tried to get access to those papers over the years so they can try to photocopy or run off with a piece that they're going to use. Like, he said he was going to cut Social Security. Here it is. Here's his notes. And Biden's like, I'm not going to give you that win. Work a little harder.
His Corvette is stored. He's so proud of that car. There was no...
Well, I mean, between the two of you, he's the one that actually can drive stick shift. I mean, Corvette, golf cart. Cue Macho Man.
security, and the door was left open most of the time.
Yeah, just because the weather in Delaware year round, it's not like they have leaves falling or it's moist ever or it doesn't snow there. It's basically like a cross between Tempe, Arizona, and Florida with zero humidity.
It's open. All of those classified documents, all of those documents strewn all over the floor, piled up like junk.
Yeah, he parked his car. He used to do, he'd do burnouts on it. As a matter of fact, it was his way of reclassifying these. He would just skid out his tires as he pulled out of the garage, and it would just it would make the spies have to work a little harder because they'd have to come in and use a scalpel and scrape off all the burnt rubber.
Unlike me, who had absolute declassification authority as president, Joe Biden...
Which, by the way, I don't know why you'd be proud of that either. Hold on one second. Just real quick. This is also helpful. Let's see if I can find the actual document. See, there we go. There you go. Executive Order 13.526. Here it is. Let me blow this up for you guys as well. And we'll scroll down here. White House, Office of the President, Secretary for Immediate Release, December 29th, 2009. That was pretty much right out of the fucking gate. Right there. Executive Order 13.526, Classified National Security Information. This order prescribes a uniform system for classifying, safeguarding, and declassifying national security information, including information relating to defense against transnational terrorism. Our democratic principles require that the American people be informed of the activities of their government. Also, our nation's property. Therefore, I, by the authority vested in me as President of the United States, hereby ordered as follows. Original classification. He sets the standards of what they are. And then classification levels. And the classification. The authority to classify information originally may be exercised only by the president. And what's that? The order to classify information originally may be exercised only by the president and the vice president, agency heads and officials designated by the president. And then the declassifications down here, classification categories, duration of classification. Let's see, where's the, because he did a lot of automatic declassification updates too. And then we'll scroll down here. Classification, percentage, limit, no kind of president, person, organization for standard competition, blah, blah, blah. Classification challenges, fundamental classification guides, derivative classification, classification guides, declassification, downgrading. Okay. Authority for declassification. Information shall be declassified as soon as it no longer meets the standards for classification under this order. Information shall be declassified, or downgraded by the official who authorized the original classification, if that official is still serving in the same position, original classification authority. So somebody who classifies something can immediately declassify it because they made the call in the interim, live while they do it, within a couple of weeks or during that. The originator's current successor in function, if that individual has original classification authority. And by the way, the president and the vice president both have the classification authority. The originator's current successor in function, or the individual, the supervisory official of either the originator or his successor in the function, which would be obviously the president and the vice president, have that ability. Director of National Intelligence should be all these ways to amplify, create the Director of National Security. Provisions of the section: no information shall be excluded from declassification, order, classification, transferred records, blah blah blah. Okay. And it's a big order. It's a lot of stuff. I'm trying to find the mandatory declassification review. Everything has to be looked at eventually. Okay. Requests and reviews. National Declassification Center. There's established within the National Archives a National Declassification Center to streamline declassification process, facilitate quality assurance measures, and implement standardized training regarding the declassification of records determined to have permanent historical value. There should be a director of the center who should be appointed. They started that. They did that under the administrator. The director of the center shall coordinate timely and appropriate, blah, blah, blah. Storage and related to agency heads shall fully cooperate, safeguarding, and then prevent unauthorized access. That would be a big part of it. And by the way, this little part right here, the prevent access by unauthorized persons, that's the part that Trump seems to flaunt, that beggars belief. And then distribution controls, that's another big part. Don't send them to a fucking golf club in New Jersey. And then, let's see, program direction, blah, 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 information, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of it, it says won't violate any laws that are not forthwith, blah, 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 the kind of boilerplate they put in the tail end. It talks about, things that qualify as damaging. They define all the words, general provisions, the atomic energy, by the way, nothing in this order shall supersede any requirement made under the Atomic Energy Act of 1954 as amended, or the National Security Act of 1947 as amended. Restricted data and formally restricted data shall be handled, protected, classified, downgraded, and declassified in conformity with the provisions of the Atomic Energy Act of 1954 as amended and regulations issued under that act. So on a constitutional level, the president doesn't have the right to override that law. He can't supersede that law. And they know this. So like any of the documents that Biden couldn't even declassify, even though he had the same classification authority as the president did from 2009 forward. He couldn't do it with nuclear secrets, for example. That's got to be a process. And let's see, director of the DNI, and then AG implemented by, and yeah. So signed by Barack Obama, December 29th, 2009. This dummy happens to think that that Joe Biden didn't have the ability to classify or declassify documents. He did. You're watching Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, share, or don't. I don't really care.
As vice president.
I mean, I want to keep doing this, so it would help. So patreon.com/Hal Sparks, but whatever.
president had no authority to declassify and
Yes, he did. From 2009, December 29th, 2009, till the end of the Obama-Biden administration, Joe Biden had the right and privilege of being able to classify and declassify documents on the same level as the president. That executive order was not challenged in court, was not denied by the Congress, was not pushed back on in any way.
no right to possess the documents. He had no right.
Yes, he did.
Instead of falling under the Presidential Records Act, Biden's actions fell under a much stricter Federal Records Act, which has very, very tough criminal penalties. Yet nothing happens to Crooked Joe. Nothing happened. Have you heard anything about the big search for his documents? No, only me.
Yes, we've heard all about it. And it was shockingly boring. It goes right up there with, I think, everybody who went, oops, I have some stuff that's got classification markings on it. Not classified, but have classification markings. And I don't want those out in the wind, so I'm going to give them back. The only difference between you and all these other people is that you did this willfully, obviously, and fought it. I don't know why he can't make that distinction. Like, again, if you have the keys to a car that you own, or you pick up the wrong keys at the valet, you're not a criminal. If you steal car keys and then pretend you don't have them and then swap them for another pair of car keys to a car that nobody's even asking for while you retain the keys to the car that isn't yours, that's the crime part. Fucking hell.
Most infamously of all, Hillary Clinton set up
a server.
an illegal private server in her basement. You never heard this story. With the deliberate intention of violating public information laws so she could hide her pay-for-play scandals at the Clinton foundations or whatever.
Or whatever. We didn't ever prove any of that. We just made a lot of allegations and stuff, so let's just pretend something happened.
Hillary stored vast quantities of classified and sensitive information on her illicit server. Some of
Nope.
it happened to
Some of it happening. Very happening. It's happening. What? Ain't no happiness now. It's flip.
leak. It leaked into Anthony.
It happening leaked.
Some of it happened to leak. It leaked into
It happened to leak. Some of it happened to leak
de-engineering
into
Anthony Weiner's computer. Remember Anthony Weiner? Into his computer. You don't want to be on his computer. And all of it was illegal because thankfully she was never president. She didn't have the powers to declassify. Thank you.
Actually, she did. She had the power to classify and declassify anything classified by her or her direct subordinates. And she operated at the pleasure of the Obama administration as Secretary of State. So technically speaking, if she ever got into trouble, they could have asked, like, would you have declassified that? Sure, yeah. And according to this asshole, that would have been enough. But according to the document we looked, the executive order of December 29th, 2009 by then sitting president and two-term president, I might add, Barack Obama, she had every right to classify and declassify documents under her direct control during her time as Secretary of State in her department. Just saying. Now, if there were documents that were attached to those kind of things that she had an awareness about that were in there, that would be where she mishandled some stuff, or she endangered those documents getting out and getting in the wind. And that's the part where she, got around talking to. But it wasn't intentional, and she didn't try to keep those things. And again, every time this asshole says they destroyed the server and she smashed her phones and she destroyed the emails and stuff, I don't know why you think that's upsetting. I'm glad they're destroyed as opposed to out in the fucking public or stored in a goddamn bathroom with a Home Depot knob on it.
Thank you. She didn't have the powers to declassify. It's a big difference, and neither did Joe.
Yes, she did. Yes, he did. 1 second. Should we go back to this? Where's the declassification part? Well, the classification process is under the same thing. Okay. Classification standards. Let's see. Information may be originally classified under the terms of this order only if the people, these are the classification, the authority, president, vice president, agency heads and officials designated by the president. That would be Secretary of State. Stupid. Of all people, you should have made me go back and read this, dum-dum. Hillary Clinton, according to this, had the ability to classify and declassify information. The authority to classify information originally may be exercised only by the president, the vice president, and agency heads and officials designated by the president. So agency heads and officials, she's the Secretary of State is the head of an agency. She would be an official. She would be a cabinet official. And United States government officials delegated this authority pursuant to paragraph C of this, which is delegation of original classification authority. So anything under the purview of the State Department, she could classify and declassify stuff. So if this asshole is going to argue that she had the right to possess this stuff because she decided to under the Presidential Records Act or some shit, just goofy. But she and Biden both had, as of December 29, 2009, the ability to classify and declassify documents, to use their own personal judgment. And you can argue their judgment, but at this point you can't argue criminality. This asshole did not, because while they did declassify documents, or they did have classified or marked classified documents in their possession, they never attempted to retain said classified documents, and he did. He also didn't declassify them while he was president and tried to retroactively pretend they were declassified after he lied because he's on tape saying, I know these aren't declassified, and he has no power to do so. Also, I don't know any Republicans who would want Barack Obama to fucking be able to declassify stuff now. Why don't you just let George W. Bush do it? The minute you stop being president, you're done, son.
Joe didn't have your mind? Have a drink. It's a little bit cooler than it was, but it's pretty hot out here.
Yeah, I'm a sweaty fuck right now because I've been, I was just arrested and fingerprinted.
Thank you. Happy birthday, great birthday.
It's good. It's good. I wish the indictment had a bow on it. It's the little things. They think he means being with them. Sucks.
Nice birthday, isn't it?
Now I gotta stand here like an asshole waiting for these people to finish.
Here I am like an idiot.
I had to beat off.
Nice birthday.
Yeah, it's great. You shitty, you can't sing. I could have been rich and getting blown right now, but I had to fuck around and find out.
Wonderful birthday. They were saying happy birthday. I was with Eric and Laura, the kids. Happy birthday, Grandpa. Happy. And I said, oh, great. I just got charged with, they want 400 years approximately.
Uh-huh. Again, I do think the paperwork around his sentence should have a bow on it.
If you add them all up, a fake 400 years. Oh, thank you.
Oh, no, it's a very real 400 years. I don't think you'll serve all of them. I think the chances are very low. That's true of everybody, but...
Darling, that's so nice. It's a wonderful birthday. We're going to make it into the greatest birthday of all. We'll make it into the greatest of all.
That's right. Just by sheer will. We're going to make it. This is going to be so good. This is going to be the birthday that changed everything. The one after when I was president, where everything just sucked ass. But,
When caught, Hillary then deleted and acid washed. Nobody does that because of the
Well, it's out of style. I mean, I had a pair of those jeans, but
expense, but it's pretty conclusive. 33,000 emails in defiance of a congressional subpoena already launched. The subpoena was there, and she decided to delete, acid wash, and then smash and destroy her cell phones with a hammer.
so you're saying that foreign nationals would have a really hard time getting to those, unlike shit that was just stacked on a stage in a ballroom anybody can walk into at Mar-a-Lago. Gotcha.
And then they say, I participated in obstruction?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, you got a subpoena on the 11th. You delayed till the 23rd. You and Walt Nada got to tell your lawyers one thing, that that those boxes were going to remain in a locked room, like you had told the FBI and the DOJ that they would stay in that room and nobody would access them. And then after they left, and between that time and when your lawyer was going to do a final sweep for classified documents, you moved a bunch of boxes out, went through them, put some back, shuffled shit. You had stuff in your drawer in your desk that was classified that you would remove during that period of time. You took out 64 boxes, only put 30 back, and then you told your lawyer these were the only boxes and they'd been sitting there the whole time. You lied to them, and then you put them in a position where they lied on a form. It does say to the best of my knowledge, but the idea is that they were under the impression that you hadn't done this. And that's being generous to them, because they very well may have known that you were engaged in this conspiracy, and they just are playing dumb because they don't want to go to jail.
Now think of it. That's called obstruction.
That's obstruction. That's obstruction. Really? There's another obstruction. Let's see. That's called obstruction. That's An employee at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence drained the resort swimming pool last October and ended up flooding a room where computer servers containing surveillance video logs were kept. Sources familiar with the matter told CNN. While it's unclear if the room was intentionally flooded or if it happened by mistake, the incident occurred amid a series of events that federal prosecutors found suspicious. At least one witness has been asked by prosecutors about the flooded server room as part of the federal investigation into Trump's handling of classified documents, according to one of the sources. The incident, which has not been previously reported, came roughly 2 months after the FBI retrieved hundreds of classified documents from the Florida residence and as prosecutors obtained surveillance footage to track how White House records were moved around the resort. Prosecutors have been examining any effort to obstruct the Justice Department's investigation after Trump received a subpoena in May 22. Prosecutors have heard testimony that the IT equipment in the room was not damaged in the flood, according to one source. Yet the flooded room was as well as conversations and actions by Trump employees while the criminal investigation bore down on the club, has caught the attention of prosecutors. I love the fact that they're like, maybe flood the room, and then it didn't work, and they're like, fuck. But yeah, go ahead. Bleach bit and something made a thing. Right.
There's never been obstruction as grave as that. She did this in the face of everything, and yet...
In the face of everything.
Nobody did anything about it. The FBI and the
It's because emails don't get destroyed. Emails exist forever.
DOJ protected her, did not issue subpoenas, did not use a grand jury, did not...
Yeah, but that's because destroyed emails aren't withheld. They're not, like, she can't sell destroyed emails. She can't take a server and sell it to somebody who can rebuild it after the fact, or those phones, they can't be reconstructed so people can get the information off of them, especially after they've been bleach bit and then destroyed.
Execute search warrants, and then the corrupt head of the FBI, James Comey, declared no reasonable prosecutor would bring a case. Can you believe it?
Yes, I can. He gave you extra time. He gave you the fucking presidency.
And that was just...
So I replaced him with Chris Wray, who has been a fucking hell.
one of many items. Hillary Clinton broke the law, and she didn't get indicted. Joe Biden broke the law, and in many other ways we're finding out. And so far has not gotten indicted.
Yeah, he's the president right now. According to you, he could just declassify all these things. I mean, he technically can. He's not going to. That's the difference. You want to talk about a character difference, is that he literally could write a quiet executive order and go effective January 22nd, 2024. I hereby declassify all documents found in my facility, my everywhere in non-redacted form for public consumption. Blah blah. But he's not going to. It's like, no, they need to be handled well. That was a mistake. Fix that.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
Well, you did everything right to be indicted. Sure.
But, you know, we're serving as a great example. And
For how to deal with corrupt individuals. Yes, finally.
the case of Bill Clinton's national security advisor, remember that? Sandy Berger. He was caught stealing classified documents from the National Archives, very big ones, very important ones, by stuffing them in his pants. That's pretty. And putting them also in his socks. And he destroyed
So it's sock drawer, his sock.
them and cut the tape with scissors, cut them all up. What Berger did was highly illegal, but he was given nothing, no jail time, nothing happened. There are countless other examples.
Yeah, I mean, don't go into it any further. Should we look at the Sandy Berger case? That's fun. Hold on. Yeah, here you go. Let's see. It's the Federation. It's the Farming Measure. This is yeah, April Fool's Day, which I think is wholly appropriate. Hold on. This is from the Department of Justice. Nothing happened. Nothing occurred to him. They didn't even do the thing with the thing. Okay, this is from the Department of Justice. For immediate released, April Fool's Day, 2005. USDOJ.gov, some sort of rogue agency. Former National Security Advisor Samuel Berger pleads guilty to knowingly removing classified information from the National Archives. Assistant Attorney General Christopher A. Wray. So good. That's right. Of the Criminal Division announced today that former National Security Advisor Sandy Berger has pleaded guilty to a charge of knowingly removing classified documents from the National Archives and Records Administration. Berger entered a guilty plea this morning in a federal court in Washington, D.C. to one count of violating 18 U.S.C. 1924, a misdemeanor. As part of his plea agreement, Berger has agreed to cooperate with the government concerning his activities at the National Archives. According to the facts admitted during his guilty plea, Berger was reviewing classified documents at the National Archives in July, September, and October of 2003 in connection with requests for documents made by the National Commission of Investigating Terrorist Acts upon the United States, the 9/11 Commission. On September 2nd, 2003, and again on October 2nd, Berger concealed and removed a total of 5 copies of classified documents from the archives. The documents were different versions of a single document. Berger, who possessed a security clearance and was aware of the laws and rules regarding classified documents, unlike Donald Trump, knew he was not authorized to remove classified documents from the archives. Berger took the documents to his office in the District of Columbia, where he destroyed 3 of the copies. Soon after the October visit, the archives discovered the documents were missing, and 2 days later contacted Berger. Initially, Berger did not tell the archive staff that he had taken the documents, but later that night told archive staff that he had accidentally misfiled 2 of them. The next day, he returned to the archive staff the 2 remaining copies of the 5 documents he had taken during the September and October visits. Each of the 5 copies of the document were produced to the 9/11 Commission in due course. In his plea, Berger admitted that he concealed and removed his handwritten notes from the archives prior to classification review in violation of archives rules and procedures. These notes have been returned to the government. Berger faces a maximum sentence of up to 1 year in jail, a $100,000 fine, and a year of supervised release, according to the plea agreement. Berger has agreed to cooperate with the government and to surrender his security clearance. The case was investigated, blah, 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 counterterrorism. So he wrote something down during his time in the Clinton administration, didn't want it to be the 9/11 Commission to see it, apparently, and took it home and cut it up. There were 5 copies. He destroyed 3 of them, brought 2 of them back because they discovered they were missing. Again, this might be why he didn't do any jail time, because once they asked him about him, he made up the misfiled story, and then he brought 2 of them back. Again, these were 5 copies of the same document. 3 were destroyed, 2 were brought back. There, you can see the distinction in this case between what Sandy Berger did and his admission immediately within 24 hours of what he did, and then his cooperation, and the minimalness of the documents themselves, and the fact that those documents were his notes and whatever his reasoning for that he ultimately pled guilty. And Chris Wray was the guy who negotiated his plea and got him to plead guilty. I don't know why that guy would be important.
Bill Clinton, who I happen to like, hard to believe, right? Before I did this, I was actually quite friendly with him. Nice guy. They should have used him a little bit more as an advisor on the 2016 election. He said, you know, you better get to Wisconsin, you're going to lose. No, we're not. You better get to Michigan, you're going to lose. No, we're not. They did. Bill Clinton lost the nuclear codes, and absolutely nothing was done about it. He lost the nuclear codes.
The story behind that. Okay. Who said Clinton lost the nuclear codes? Mr. Trump shared the story on Truth Social in the form of a tweet from Buzz Patterson, who served as a senior military aide to Mr. Clinton from 96 to 98, during which time he was one of the handful of people who carried the so-called nuclear football. Mr. Patterson, who is now a vociferous Trump supporter, tweeted the claim last week, but told his story as long ago as 2003 in a book about Mr. Clinton titled Dereliction of Duty, and is telling the incident happened in 1998. Interestingly enough, right before he was let go. He thought he had placed them upstairs, wrote Mr. Patterson, who claims the event took place just as the Monica Lewinsky scandal broke. We called upstairs, we started to search around the White House for the codes, and he finally confessed that he in fact misplaced them. He couldn't recall when he had last seen them. Mr. Patterson's story refers not to the football, but the biscuit, a card containing a set of nuclear codes that the president can carry on, by the way, on their person separate from the launch materials in the famous briefcase. A similar story was told 7 years later by former chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Hugh Shelton, who claimed that codes were actually missing for months. Where Mr. Patterson dates the incident to 98, Mr. Shelton puts it later in 2000. Neither event has ever been officially confirmed by Mr. Clinton or the executive branch. Is the story true? Even the Clinton story as told by Patterson is true. It makes a poor parallel for the saga of Trump's alleged hoarding of nuclear documents. For one thing, if it was indeed the nuclear codes that went missing in the incident Mr. Patterson claims occurred, it remains true that the codes can be changed such the missing ones are useless if found. The fact this was in fact done at 12 p.m. on 20 January 2021 when Joe Biden became president because Mr. Trump refused to attend the inauguration, meaning the traditional handover of the biscuit and the football could not be carried out as usual. By the way, why is the biscuit and the football not I'm doing it. I'm trademarking right now. I'm going to do a documentary called "The Biscuit and the Football." The Biscuit and the Football. It's good. It's going to be a cartoon about an adorable post-nuclear apocalypse where a biscuit and a football who have evolved from the primordial ooze caused by the nuclear explosion become friends. Mr. Clinton's alleged loss of the codes, which even Mr. Patterson says was brief, would also not be the only time that a president is separated from the nuclear weapons apparatus. The same happened in various ways to several of the Cold War era commanders-in-chief. The codes were taken by the FBI after Ronald Reagan was shot by Hinckley, while Jimmy Carter is long rumored to have accidentally sent the codes to the dry cleaners in his suit pocket. That's a rumor, again. More importantly, however, Trump stands accused of something far more serious than innocently or negligently losing a changeable piece of nuclear launch apparatus, which cannot be used on its own. He is accused of illegally retaining classified documents. Yeah. So, no. By the way, I think every time this comes up, bullshit. Two Trump fans who decided they didn't like Clinton and one especially who was fired, and the allegation of when it happened being separate, the same event being two different times, 2 years apart. You should bring up whenever that's brought up, the objections around memories around Kavanaugh's indiscretions. They don't even know what date it happened. Well, neither does he about this story about the fucking launch codes.
The George W. Bush White House lost 22 million emails. A record.
A record. Yeah, nobody loses. Hold on. Hold on. By the way, Dick Cheney doesn't lose emails. Dick Cheney gets rid of emails. We'll look at this one real quick. Fact check. There we go. Did George W. Bush use a private server too? Here's an issue now over. There's an issue now over blah blah blah. Accusations of Bush is handling emails and his administration's use of a private server reemerges Hillary Clinton's blah blah blah. The Bush email fiasco is related to the firing of 9 federal prosecutors in December 2006. Accusations that the firings were politically motivated led to congressional hearings. During those investigations, lawmakers requested email records and were told by the Bush administration that millions of email records were not properly archived and had been effectively deleted. Citizens for Crew and the National Security Archives filed lawsuits claiming the Bush administration knew as early as 2005 that its lack of an email archiving system violated federal laws, blah, blah, blah. The Clinton administration put in place automated records management system, ARMS, that automatically captured, preserved, and categorized all emails sent through the White House email system in accordance with the Federal Records Act and the Presidential Records Act. The lawsuit alleged, however, that ARMS was deactivated in 2002 under the Bush administration, which ultimately led to millions of emails being lost. Crew determined that hundreds of days of White House emails created between 2003 and 2005 were missing, amounting to at least 5 million emails that had been deleted from the servers. Later, it was revealed that as many as 22 million emails were missing from the official record. The emails lost in part because administration officials used a private server supplied by the RNC, and no archiving system was in place, it was reported at the time. In December 2009, however, the Obama administration reported that it had recovered roughly 22 million Bush administration emails from 2003 to 2005. The emails had been mislabeled, not deleted. A settlement negotiation between Crew and the National Security Archives and the Obama administration, which inherited the lawsuits, allowed for the release of 94 days worth of emails, as trying to recover all the data would have been too expensive. Note this is documents produced so far show the Bush administration was lying when officials claimed no emails were ever missing. The record now proves incontrovertibly that the Bush administration officials deliberately ignored the problem and in fact knowingly allowed it to worsen. Meanwhile, the Associated Press reported that the former Bush White House spokesman Scott Stanzel defended the Bush White House administration. The liberal groups Crew and National Security Archive litigate for sport, distort the facts, and consistently blah, blah, blah. It's true that the Bush administration officials were widely believed to have lost the 22 million emails, but the emails had actually been mislabeled and some were released. That's the truth. Just saying. It's do I have to catch everybody up on every fucking thing? He just gets to lie, and this is just another Gish Gallop. And anybody who's a Trump fan, at this point, fuck is the matter with you?
NARA cannot assure complete transfer of any of the Bush records. A document shredding truck was spotted on the way to Dick Cheney's house. Can you imagine?
Yes, he was a senator, and a lot of those documents should be shredded and destroyed after he's done with them. What do you want him to do? Just sit there?
Hillary Clinton took hundreds.
And again, I don't know when he's talking about it. It could be at this point, it could just be around RNC fundraising.
Of thousands of dollars worth of furniture, china, flatware, rugs,
China,
and more from the White House. And she wasn't prosecuted. How about
yeah, but nobody can figure out our battle plans by looking at furniture.
that one? She took the furniture and the china. How about if Trump did that? You think Trump would have a little problem?
I just have boxes full of personal effects and things from my time as president, and I have a right to take those things and stuff. But Clinton doesn't.
The horrific violations of my rights by crooked Joe Biden's weaponized Department
Woohoo!
of Injustice are unthinkable. It's unthinkable what's happening.
It is unthinkable. You know how you can tell he's not thinking. There's no thinking going on here. I haven't seen any thinking at all. Just kind of like just verbal diarrhea.
Happened so bad for our country.
So bad.
Democrats all, they lawlessly pierced my attorney-client privilege.
Democrats all lawlessly, all lawlessly.
They lawlessly bad for our country. Democrats all, they lawlessly pierced my attorney-client privilege with lawyers. What they did to lawyers, what they have done to
To lawyers in general, just the Lawyers.
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
What they have done.
Our lawyers, all.
Yeah, not my lawyers, obviously. Your lawyers. I blame you fucking guys. As a matter of fact, you are my defense. MAGA made me keep these things.
All of our lawyers. They've done things that were absolutely horrible and unthinkable.
I've got to close my drapes.
The leaking has been unbelievable.
Uh-huh.
Dumps. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Highly illegal. They leak. We've learned
Worse than my diaper.
more from the Washington Post, New York Times, about the DOJ.
Oh, you mean the establishment media, or the corporate media, or the lefty media? You learned more about that?
Boxes hoax. It's a boxes hoax. Then from prosecutors themselves. We want to read about it. You pick up the Washington Post, which is not doing well, or you pick up the New York Times. But they'll do better now because of these things. You know, this is the only way they survive, but they'll end up dying.
I guess if you want to get rid of them entirely, just cut off their food supply. I stop breaking the law, asshole.
But it's not supposed to be that way.
No, it's not. You're not supposed to be president. We're not supposed to have to worry about an asshole like you.
We don't want to learn from the Times. We don't want to learn from leaks. We want to learn from the people we're supposed to learn from.
That's right. Teachers. We need substitute teachers. People who are just let us read whatever we want. Obviously, the kind of sub that smells like weed.
It's like a leaking sieve, and
it's like, oh God. Sieves don't leak. Sieves don't leak. They are built to. Sieves do what they filter things. It's a simple basic filter. Nothing leaks from it. That's how it works. Something only leaks if stuff's not supposed to escape. It's like being confused. They use that door like a portal. It's like a window you can see through. It's so bad.
Washington. But we learned nothing about the Biden bribery scheme or special counsel Robert Hur's investigation. Robert Hur is doing the Biden investigation.
Is he? How's that going?
He's a very respected, very nice person.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice person.
Good.
Mine's not such a nice person. Mine's a deranged lunatic, which are many times
Well, it takes a thief to catch a thief, I think.
the magnitude of ours in both number and severity. That's the prosecutor that they gave. He has
I'm sorry, I thought you were a tough guy.
found nothing. He totally exonerated Mike Pence. I'm happy about that. Mike did nothing wrong, but he happened to have classified documents in his house.
Yeah, he didn't fight it. That would be the thing. He gave them back as soon as he knew. And he let them do a search on their own. He didn't say, we'll search, we'll let you know. And sure, we found stuff, but we're not giving it back. See the difference?
But they exonerated him, and Biden is a different story. I mean, so much. You have to really think about what I said. As a senator, he took all of those documents. It's unprecedented.
Well, he is president now, so.
The prosecutor in the case, I will call it our case, is a thug. I've named him Deranged Jack Smith.
It's great. It's from a branding standpoint, Booby, it's fantastic. Deranged Jack Smith. I mean, were you up all night working on that? Because I could not come up with something off the top of my head that's that sharp and that's that cutting and it flows off the tongue too. And you see him and you immediately think it. It's just it's that kind of branding genius that gave us Trump Steaks and Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. All those winners. It's that kind of branding that brought you to Trumpence. It came out of your face like some sort of British coin from the 14th century. A Trumpence.
I wonder what his name used to be, Jack Smith. It sounds so innocent, doesn't it? Jack Smith. What's his name? Jack Smith. He's a very nice man.
Yeah, it's obviously he's in the witness relocation program. He took a really weird cover story though, being a prosecutor and being, heavily associated with giant prosecutions and then working at The Hague.
He's a behind-the-scenes guy, but his record is absolutely atrocious. He does political hit jobs. He's been known to viciously arrest a certain governor. You know the governor, Bob McDonnell of Virginia, and absolutely ruined his life and the life of his family.
The nerve. So it worked. So you're saying he really only goes after him if he can ruin someone's life. That doesn't make you, nervous at all.
All these wonderful family members, I knew them.
And they're all dead now. Jack Smith, he ate them in front of the judge. He just it's weird. We're like a ninth world country at this point. That's the thing. We're
a ninth world country, not a third world country. A ninth world country.
We've got a cannibal psychopath eating governors and their entire families.
Only to have the case overturned 8-0 by the Supreme Court. He destroyed that man and he destroyed that family.
Yeah.
And by the way, I will tell you, I'm here and I love you all and we can take it. But what these thugs have done to my family is a disgrace.
Yeah, they swapped him out for these assholes. I had a perfectly good family. It was me and Ivanka and her husband, and they left, and now I'm left with these two dickheads and their weird wife-girlfriend swap partners. The saucy chick who's always wagging her ass, and the female volleyball player that's taller than Barron. I don't know what the. Do you ever have those pod people moments where you think your family's been swapped for plant? Ugh.
I will tell you that I say it to all of the fake news because there's a lot of it back there.
No, there isn't. And also, if it's fake news, they're just showing you talking. What does that say about what you're saying, stupid? Yes, turn around and boo the people who are actually filming him. Make sure they all leave. Just make sure nobody pays attention.
What they did to my family and that young man right there, he's answered more subpoenas than any human being in the history of the world. And you know what? They have nothing after all of those subpoenas.
Yeah, they do. Your CFO's in jail. Your company was found guilty. You got a shit ton of stuff. What are you talking about? You and Eric had to plead the fifth 400 times. 400!
Literally thousands of them. Congress, fake counsels, Mueller report, all of this. All he did is answer subpoenas all the time. At least he's become very experienced at that. Congratulations. But Eric is fantastic, and what he and
But he's so good. When he pleads the fifth, he does it in bulk.
Don and Ivanka and the whole group, that's what they've gone through.
Don and Ivanka and the whole group of kids that my children, the group of children that I have.
And these are serious people. These are serious people.
Okay, now he's just given up.
But what he's done to my family, what they have done to my family is horrible. He also...
They've made them have to deal with me all the time. At this point, they should be running their own lives, but now each one of them is having to carry me every day of the goddamn week.
Tried to railroad John Edwards on a completely bogus legal theory that didn't hold up in court. It's no wonder this raging lunatic was shipped off to The Hague to prosecute war criminals using globalist tribunals.
Oh, yeah. So none of the people they're going after at The Hague are war criminals. That's his new defense. They're innocent victims.
Not beholden to the Constitution or the rule of law. Two things Jack Smith clearly disdains. You take a look at this guy. He looks like a thug. But then
You look like a circus peanut. What's your fucking point?
watched him make a speech the other day, and he was trembling because it wasn't his territory. He feels much safer in the inner sanctums
He was trembling.
of the Department of Injustice, where he can be in his...
Maybe he was trying to not he was trembling because he was trying not to scream about how crimey you are. Just a thought. I'm just throwing that out
room
there.
and scream at people. He's a raging and uncontrolled Trump hater, as is his wife, who also happened to be the producer of that Michelle Obama puff piece. It was a total puff piece.
It's a total puff piece. Why can't I get a puff piece on Netflix? It's so unfair. I want to. It's not that I'm against them getting a puff piece. It's like I want my puff piece. Isn't this supposed to be all puff? Aren't you supposed to believe everything I say?
This is the guy I've got.
That's the guy I got.
Don't forget, this persecution is being done by the same weaponized agencies that for 7 years have been running illegal psychological warfare campaigns against the American people, much as if they were trying to destabilize a foreign country. From
Jesus Christ! Yeah, now it's a CIA plot. This is we've cut away from our demonstration of ChatGPT 11 and the ability to make deepfakes, where we're just flipping channels on the internet and going from what the man was actually saying to an Alex Jones broadcast.
the Russia hoax, to the no collusion Mueller witch hunt, to impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2,
The moth that's flying in and out of my mouth.
the 51 lying intelligence offers. How about them? They said it's Russia disinformation, and they knew it wasn't,
Yes, it was.
which made about, according to some of the great pollsters that are right here,
Yeah, all the pollsters that I hang out with that tell me what I want to hear, 17 points. I would have fucking won if, because nobody knows that Hunter Biden smokes in the bathtub.
made from anywhere from a 10 to 17 point
Yeah.
difference, and yet we still got more votes than any sitting president in history in the second election.
Yeah, that's because not keeping people from voting actually works. People will vote if it's easier and simpler, and you'll get more of a if you can mail in your vote, a lot of people will do it. By the way, why are all of Biden's mail-in votes fake, but yours are real? Yeah.
And we actually did much better in the second election than we did in the first election.
But not good enough.
The fake dossier, paid for by the Democrats. How about the fake dossier? Remember that one? You think that was easy to go home and say, "Hello, darling, how are you?" when they read about that? It wasn't easy at all.
Why? If it's not true, who cares? Do you not have a relationship with your wife where you're like, okay, I'm running for president, and they're writing, you know me. I'm the kind of person that's going to pay hookers to pee on a bed? You've watched me with hookers. You know how I behave.
Spying on my campaign, we caught
Nope.
them spying on my campaign.
No, you didn't.
The FBI, Twitter files, and so much more.
Oh, yes. And yet, all of that has not amounted to a hill of beans.
It's all been a battle of disinformation, one thing after the other, and all to protect the radical
Thank you for the super chat. And by the way, thank you guys a lot. I've been wrapped up in this, but thank you. It's Hal Sparks, Megaworldwide. Hit the like, subscribe.
left misfits.
The misfits and weirdos and maggots and no.
It's also no coincidence that these charges against me came down the very same day.
It's that moth. It came down. What are the bugs? The bed bugs have gotten way bigger at Bedminster since I've been at Mar-a-Lago. What's happened?
Evidence revealed Joe Biden took a $5 million bribe from Ukraine. Took a $5
Nope.
million bribe.
Yeah, he just took it. And apparently that bribe was to do what now?
But the FBI and the Justice Department don't even want to talk about it.
Well, I mean, you had the evidence then? If you had the evidence, wouldn't you just be like, all right, here's why they're indicting me. Check this out. Read this. Read this entire thing. I declassified. I have a friend inside. Since I was president, I declassified anything criminal that was done. I declassified while I was president. Here, read this. This is, I'm passing out copies of it. Unredacted. This is the receipt from we went over there and I sent, I had Betsy DeVos's brother go over and snatch this fucker up. We're gonna bring him out fucking in a Hannibal Lecter mask tied to a dolly And he'll tell you right now. And he's got a little recorder, and he's gonna play the recording that he has of Hunter Biden and Joe Biden into a microphone right here, which is absolutely not fake. And why would you even be making this argument if any of that stuff was true?
They showed something on television tonight. It had 0 time on the 3 major networks, 0. But my impeachment had almost all the time. I think I had 351 minutes. They had no minutes.
Congratulations. Yeah, nobody saw my wedding pictures. They only saw the stuff where I was videotaped kicking my wife's ass in a hotel elevator. Why would they?
Okay? I think a lot of people are going to vote. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to vote.
Yeah, you think so?
I will tell you, I just left Miami, and I've never seen love in the streets like that.
Oh, love in the streets.
I've never seen it. We've seen a lot of love.
That's right. So much love, ladies and gentlemen. I've lived a life that's full. Come on, everybody. You gotta stop this morning time. We're gonna run around the city and fall down the stairs. We're doing. I haven't seen love in a room like this since Sammy came over to me and said, walked up to me. I haven't seen love since the kidney. Where was I? Sorry, I missed that. I chat room. You guys, are you still there? Are you still with me? Hi. Get in here. Oh, Blackwater, keep on killing. Mississippi Trump gonna keep on shining. Oh, Blackwater, keep on killing. Yeah, thank you. Thanks very much. Love, exciting and new. Come on, everybody. Hey, I haven't seen love in a room like this since the Moon River. Moon River. Thank you. I haven't seen love in a room like this since the lights were out and I've been trying to put my pants on. I tripped and fell forward and I was stuck over an end table. What a dipshit. Love you guys. Please like and subscribe. I want to keep doing the show. You guys are fun. All right, here we go.
I've never seen love like that.
I've never seen love like that. Well, we know what your relationships are like, you fucking weirdo. But you do realize that crowd was very small. It was a spattering of lunatics. Maybe you've never seen love like that because you don't see people's faces. You just see numbers of flags.
Because they know what we all go through. They know what we've gone through, and they see it, and they're smart. And, many of those people coming from Cuba, Venezuela, other countries, they've seen
Yes, it was mostly immigrants in front of the Miami courthouse.
this happening to their countries. I used
Totally.
to say that the United States, if it keeps going this way, it's going to be Venezuela on steroids. And now we're buying oil from Venezuela. Can you believe it? We have more liquid gold under our feet than any other nation, but we're buying tar from Venezuela, and we're refining it in Houston, the dirtiest, worst oil probably anywhere in the world.
Well, it is cheap, and you don't need the best for our fuel purposes. I mean, we're not doing anything. That's private companies. If they want to buy that shit and sell a lesser quality refined product back to South America, take it up with Texas.
And we're refining it. So you can imagine what's going up in the air, and our beautiful stuff we're not taking out of.
Well, it is Texas, though. They don't give a fuck about the environment, and also bullshit.
The ground and making a lot of money and paying off debt and reducing taxes still further, which we were in the process of doing. They want to distract.
You mean accumulating debt? That's another way of phrasing it.
From the real espionage and the real crime, so let's use President Trump to do so. Let's go out and let's indict President Trump so they don't talk about the $5 million bribe. Just yesterday, Senator Grassley revealed that the Burisma executive who allegedly paid the...
Excuse me, that is not how it's pronounced.
The Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
bribe reportedly has Crooked Joe on tape. They have 17 tapes, I understand.
I have some recordings.
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
They point to someone who's a criminal who doesn't understand how space-time works
I felt really good almost after taking it.
and has no idea where he is at any given
Michigan
time.
gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang. He must be a nice guy to deal with, right? The guy from Burisma, nice guy. The Burmese company, they got him and Hunter on 17 different tapes, supposedly. But the
Supposedly. Can't wait to hear him. Very excited.
FBI isn't showing them.
They're not showing the tapes. They aren't. They are audio tapes. But, you know, let's get a look at
I
them.
think people saw that loud and clear.
What?
I think people saw that loud and clear.
Saw that loud and clear. This seems to be a consistent problem, auditory to visual. I would, in some circles, they call that signs of dementia.
Remember, they impeached me for asking a simple question about Biden's corrupt dealings in Ukraine, and now...
No. You didn't ask a simple question. You asked for a simple conspiracy.
They see that once again, I was right. I was totally right.
No, you weren't.
Joe Biden and the radical left can take foreign bribes.
Oh, good. All right. Well, that's settled then. I think we're okay. What else? I mean, that's it, right? They're allowed. Did you write that down while you were president? You said it. We'll just take it as law.
And be totally protected.
Okay, that's nice of you. So is that should we call that that's a retroactive pardon? Somebody write that down.
Republicans all, you must finally get tough. You've got to get tough. You got to get tough, and you got to show them.
You got to get tough. You're not tough. You're a bunch of wussies. You're a bunch of weaklings. You got your ballless scrotums. Your saggy old circus peanuts farting around Mar-a-Lago, not knowing where you are. You got to, that's...
When you arrest your leading political opponent, we no longer have a democracy.
Well, I mean, what do you think it says about our democracy when one party's leading figure is committing so many national security crimes? Wouldn't that be a bigger attack on democracy that one party, the entire party, is backing somebody, the majority of them? Obviously, you got less than 50% of your whole party. That's fun. But your whole party, the majority of people in your party are backing someone who would store classified documents in the shitter while saying other people who destroyed emails that no one will ever see are somehow more of a security threat than you are.
When people are allowed to pour through our open borders and
moths attack my face,
our elections are rigged, our country is in very
proving that moths will even attack a dim bulb.
Serious trouble. When inflation is allowed to rage, when energy independence and dominance, we had independence and dominance. We
had independence and dominance, and we were spanking them right on the hootie hoo, and it was delicious. By the way, we're the biggest oil producer in the world by like 2 million barrels a day. We are right now. We have been.
We're going to be soon very, very dominant. Within 6 months, we were going
to be carrying riding crops, wearing stockings with garters, black, making people wear a zipper hood as we spank their balls with one of those little flappy things that the Wall Street guys like. We were going to be so dominant, they were going to call us the United States of Dominatrix.
Dominate the whole world with energy, make a fortune.
Dominate the whole world with energy. It's oil, not cocaine, fuckhead.
We were going to be paying off debt and lowering taxes at a level that nobody's ever seen.
Yeah, that worked. We're going to nationalize our oil and use it to pay off debt, just like Venezuela did. Honestly, dude.
And they came in and they ended it.
At the end, they just took away. They won't even. You're not even allowed to have a gas stove anymore. They took it away as I was thinking.
But when that's taken away from us, when interest rates and taxes spiral upward in an uncontrolled way.
Hold on. Spiral upward. Give me a second. Nope. Where did that go? When interest rates spiral upwards.
The numbers should skyrocket downward.
This fucker doesn't know how anything works. Hold on. Let me get in here.
From us when interest rates and taxes spiral upward in an uncontrolled way, when murders are allowed
They should spiral upward in a controlled way.
to roam, murderers, these are horrible killers, murderers are allowed to roam the streets of our Democrat-run cities unchecked.
Unchecked. Nobody checks them. Have you murdered someone today? No, well, go murder someone. Otherwise, we're not going to call you that anymore.
But the incompetent district attorney in New York indicts Trump for a crime that everybody agrees, every pundit, everybody.
Every pundit all over the place. Nobody thinks it was a crime. It's just, it's one thing the corporate media agrees on.
There is no crime.
There's no crime. Well, so far, my CFO did go to jail. Is it a crime if I haven't actually been in a jail yet? Is that how I'm going to... Yeah, that's how I define it. Uh-huh.
But murderers go out and nobody ever even comes and knocks on their door, and they know.
Well, a lot of them, aren't home. They're out murdering. I know a bunch of them fellers. And I'm just saying, if you got a murderer, don't roll up and knock on their door. I wouldn't, honest to God, what I do, I got this friend Gary, and he's what we call a recovering murderer, all right? They never got him on the case, but it's been an issue for a long time. And so what I did is I went out there and I found a stick. And I took it and I took a rubber band and I attached it to another stick. And then I took another stick and I attached it to that and attached it to another stick. Till I had like 17 sticks. And then I stood up on the top of this log up in the holler, and I used that super long twig to ring his doorbell. And goddamn if he didn't shoot off the first 5 segments of it. But anyways, then after that we went for a beer.
They're there and they know their rooms.
Yep.
And they know their locations.
That's right. New York's done this thing where they've started categorizing they murderers. They got like a filing system, and I think it's called jail.
And they're roaming our cities all over. And
well, I mean, they're more rambling than roaming. You know what I mean? I was always told by my prom date that I had Roman hands and Russian fingers. I didn't know what that meant. So I just pulled my pants up and got out of the truck.
some of them are coming in right now through our borders.
Really? They're just now coming in through the borders? Well, aren't they late for murdering? How do you... I mean, they don't even have time to roam first. They're just going to have to get straight to murdering. And then, oh my God. And I thought these people were hard workers. I'd always heard that. I don't know how to feel about it.
But then you have a nation that, as we are, is in serious decline. We have a...
Hey, watch it now. It's America. I love America. Watch your fucking mouth there, son.
nation in serious decline.
Hey, man, I got to be honest. Is it in serious decline if you're the person that says it and I don't take you seriously? I mean, you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean.
If the communists get away with this...
With murdering or roaming?
It won't stop with me.
Well, I think that the commies were like, okay, job accomplished. They would want to find like a capitalist that actually had money. Know what I mean? Like if the idea is that they coming after you just because they don't like capitalism and because that's what them commies don't like. They don't like capitalism. That they'd hardly pick you as the symbol. You know what I mean? They go after somebody that actually has money, man. I got more money on me than you have because all the debt you got, and I don't have any on me. Not, well, I mean, I have a 20, but it's taped back together. I had a bit of an accident, okay? And I'm just saying, if you jumping out a window, and you get your trousers snagging on a nail like that, you can't complain if the only 20 you got is torn in half and you can't use it for a cab fare to get all the way across the holler. Just be glad it wasn't your sack that snagged on the nail.
They will not hesitate to ramp up their persecution of Christians, pro-life activists, parents attending school board meetings, and even future Republican candidates, which they do.
So that, let me get this straight. I'm just trying to be clear on this because I won't be right. I want to understand what you're saying. So they ain't gonna attack pro-lifers, conservatives, other Republican candidates, and people like that until they done with you. Well, I think it's a great case you're making for dragging this fucking court case out as long as possible. As a matter of fact, I think it's your duty as an American to just insist on a jury trial, never ask for a delay, and make sure your defense goes, I don't know, shit, how long do we need to plan a defense against them commie monsters? At least 2 years. I think it's got to be on TV every 2 years. Just distract, like OJ meets Menendez meets People's Court meets Wheel of Fortune. And it just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes.
We must end it permanently, and we must end it immediately.
Well, if it ends, what difference does it make? Aren't all ends permanent? Otherwise, you didn't end it. You just paused it. You know what? I'm splitting hairs. That's wrong. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought that up.
Now that the seal
Has been broken and the moths are flying out from the gates of hell. Is that what's happening?
so important.
It's so important, man. Once the seal's been broken. You know what? Let me tell you something. I was once at the zoo after hours. And look, you have not seen a seal broken until, you know what? I'm going to save that to another time because there's too many children awake at this hour.
Is broken. The seal is broken.
It is broken, whatever, but he still makes that lovely noise and he can still blow his horn and he can still balance the ball on his nose and he's going to be okay.
By what they've done, they should never have done this.
Yes, the sea. Oh, the seal. It has been broken. Yes, the seal has come undone. Oh, the seal, it's come unbroken. Because Donald Trump is the only one. Give it up now. Come on, everybody say seal has come on, bro. Let's go to church, everybody. The seal has come on, bro. Because I'm sorry, I'm starting to fantasize about that seal at the zoo. She had the, all right, you know what? Never mind. The children are still up. Okay.
This was an unwritten rule. You just don't.
Yep. Never break the unwritten rules. How am I supposed to know there's a rule then? I bet you it's unspoken too. Shit. Unspoken, unwritten rule. God damn it. What can I do? Now I'm scared shitless. I'm not going to move.
Unless it's really bad.
Oh, so it's okay. All right,
You
gotcha.
just don't. But the seal is now broken.
As the seal has come unbroken, as the Lord rains down his glory, glory, glory. Oh, the seal has come unbroken, and old Trump can go to hell. Hickey boogie diggy bing bong doo. What, y'all don't know your hymns? Shit, don't make me say, ladies and gentlemen, open your hymns to page 44. The seal has come unbroken, and then Marge will read our reading for the day. Marge. I'm sorry, I said reading, and she started to bleed from the nose. We'll get her. Maybe we just leave her there. Probably. She's down front, passed out, little. There's a weird smell coming from her now. I think some people lose control. You know what? Oh, the sea has come up.
In addition to closing the border and removing all of the criminal elements that have illegally invaded our country.
I love the way he says illegal, man.
Yeah, look.
That's what them ladies like. Sometimes I meet a lady and I'll go, hey there, you should hear the way I should say illegal. And, you know, I won't be able to hear it because your thighs will cover my ears.
making America energy independent and even dominant again, and immediately ending the war between Russia and Ukraine. I'll have it ended in 24 hours.
That's right. He's going to end it in 24 hours. He's going to go up to Russia and go, you can have it. And he's going to say to Ukraine, you're fucked. That'd do it, I think, pretty much, if it's America. You know what I mean? If it's just him, you know, here's the thing. If it's a matter of negotiation, just on knowing what the right thing to say is, don't you got a plane? Dude, I think, you know, for the sake of peace and the world order, man, I think that Donald Trump ought to get on his Trump Force One, fly over there to that Donbass, and sit there and say, all right, get your ass over here. I'm going to have a talk with you. And then have Putin come in there and Zelensky, sit down with him, and they can just they can shoot the shit. And when they're done, you know, firing guns at turds, they can have a conversation.
I will appoint a real special prosecutor to go after the most corrupt president in the history of the United States of
Garfield?
America, Joe Biden.
Oh, hey. So, you're going to do you should do a phrase with something like that. Get you people all riled up. Something like lock up has to be in there somewhere. I don't know. Lock Biden up. You work it out. You're good at this shit.
And the entire Biden crime family.
So you're just going to lock up everybody in the family. You're just going to throw them all in jail. And that's good. That sounds right up, you know, that sounds very American.
A ninth world country, not a third world country, a ninth world country.
Yeah, about like that.
Name a special prosecutor.
Well, go ahead, man. What are you going to call him? Pookie? Gerald? What are you going to name him? Is he born right now? You're going to nickname your own special prosecutor? What are you going to call him? Shooter? Gabby? Just don't use fecus, man. That's taken.
And all others involved with the destruction of our elections, our borders, and our country itself. They're
That's everybody.
destroying our country.
You mean all the people who didn't vote for you? Fuck, man, you're going to be busy. You're never going to get... It's going to be infrastructure week forever.
And when I'm reelected, and we will get reelected, we have no choice. We're not going to have a country anymore. I will totally obliterate the deep state. We will...
Oh, man, he's going out for a deep state. That's good. I ain't never seen that, but I've heard that deep states around there and stuff. And I know people say they ain't no deep state, ain't no establishment. That's just something weak-minded fools throw out there when they ain't got no ideas and they talking out of their ass and they just trying to make up some boogeyman that lives out, you know, past the light fade out there in the holler in the swamp to just keep you from living. There's another word, the swamp. They'll use words like the swamp and that. They don't mean a real swamp. None of them been anywhere near a goddamn swamp. But they mean like metaphorically a swamp or whatever. And I know most people say, hey, that's something a dumbass says. And if you use words like deep state in conversation, I know you probably had, you know, fetal alcohol syndrome in your late 40s, but you know, that ain't true. I think he's gonna get him.
Obliterate the deep state.
That was a word somebody told him, obliterate. And so he was like, that guy gave me that word for that thing, obliterate. He's really hitting that O hard though. Isn't it obliterate?
And we know who they are. I know.
We do? We know who the deep state is? Well, shit. Why are we still calling them the deep state now when we can call them Dave or Gary?
Exactly who they are.
Who are they? Oh, I'll get them. That deep state, who are they? They've been hiding behind that name deep state for a long time. You know who they are. He knows exactly who they are. He knows exactly who the deep state is. Who is the deep state, man? Tell us. Tell us right now. Don't keep it. Then we can help you. We'll help you. We'll all get on there and dox them. We can do some doxing. That's big on the internet right now. I want to know. Tell me. Tell me who the deep state is. Give me the deep state, as they say. Wait, where's that? There's a thing around here. Let's see.
Here I am like an idiot.
That ain't it. Where the shit is there's a deep state something in here.
De-engineering.
That's not what the deep state is. I don't know. Run it back.
Action replays in magnified fortune.
Something like that. Anyways,
They don't like the gas.
tough.
They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. It's very
I don't think that's part of the charges. That's, you know what? That sounds like something a kidnapper would say. I got to be completely honest. They want to put me in jail because I'm protecting you in my basement. They want you to force you out into the world where it's dangerous instead of safe down here in the well under my house. Now put the lotion on its skin.
simple. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They want.
You do realize you're talking into a microphone to a group of people who right now can go on Amazon and buy a microphone. I even got my special Trump translator bullhorn. I got it fresh off of Amazon. It translates anything you say into Trumpese. It's amazing. Y'all want to hear it? Watch this. It doesn't matter. It's like AI. It doesn't matter what the fuck it says. It just, listen here. Hold on. Isn't that amazing? It's like, it's uncanny. It sounds just like him. It's so interesting. Watch this. It's like, I don't even know how they do it.
I want you silent. And I am the
Silent, but deadly. I'll quit it.
only one that can save this nation because you know they're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving.
So you're telling us they're always going to be after you? I don't know. I'm starting to think they ain't really after me then. If they're after you because you're in the way and you're never going to get out of the way, how do I know they're just not after you, period? And they never was after me and you just whispering sweet nothings in my ear? I don't know. I'm going to need some of this in writing and then I'm going to need somebody to read it to me.
On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done.
Wait, you're going to be sentenced on November 5th, 2020? How do you know? I guess, well, maybe, you know. Do you get to pick your sentencing date if you're an ex-president? That's impressive. I'm impressed. That is, y'all, that is top shelf. That is front row. That is, oh yeah, that is not pot noodle justice. This man gets justice on a silver platter whenever he wants it. Delivered like Postmate justice. Shit.
We will take back our country and we will.
What are you going to do? Return it? If it doesn't fit, they're not going to. It's like underwear, man. Once you've worn it.
Make America great again. Thank you, God.
Didn't you already do that? Isn't it Magoo? It's Magoo now. Make America great over and over and over and over and over and over. Magoo.
Bless you all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Everybody notices he's sounding like Ozzy sometimes. God bless you all. He does that all the time or whatever. Except, you know, there is one slight difference. Ozzy means it. Meanwhile, love you guys. Hi. Thanks for joining me today. I went way over because that was long. So I didn't even get to the other clips because there's lots of it. And he lied so much. But we covered a lot of stuff. And I feel like I nailed down all of the lies. Pretty rock solid, I think. And then we even, when it got tiresome at the end, got a little laugh out of that business. I hope it tickled your fancy, wherever your fancy may be. Only you know. But I want to say thank you guys for being here. Love you, and I'm glad you guys love Ficus. He loves you right back. And God bless.
De-engineering.
Yeah. That was fun. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. Thanks to Johnny Million for the for rating. I appreciate it greatly. If you're on Twitch, don't forget to subscribe. Twitch.tv/HalSparks. If you have Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you a dime. Patreon.com/HalSparks. You can sign up for a whole year in one fell swoop. If you don't like doing the month-to-month thing, or that shit makes you nervous, or you don't like adding a bill or some craziness, I can't say I blame you. So thank you. Whatever you can do to help. And if you can't do anything at all, at least let me know that you come regularly to the show, and I'm making you feel better. Just drop by and go, hey, thanks for cheering me up or making me worry less or informing me or doing all of the above. At least do that. And again, thank all the people who become members, who support the show, who become patrons. Let them know you appreciate it. If you can't afford to help out the show or don't do it or can't do it on a regular, at least let them know you appreciate them making the show possible, because I certainly do. And I love you guys. And that's that. And let's see, tomorrow, regular time show, even though it's a Thursday, it'll be 3 o'clock all summer long. Just letting you know that. And what else? There was something. Oh, another thing.
I agree. I'm a dope.
I think people saw that loud and clear.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I don't read, obviously.
Again, the words are conditions.
When they gaze upon Yosemite, I've been involved in the 2 greatest scams in American history. We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
I don't read, obviously.
They said, oh,
Michigan gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang. Michigan gave us Motown.
I had a beat off. I had a beat off. I had a beat off. I had a beat off.
They don't like the gas. They don't like the gas. They don't like the gas. Christopher Columbus. Christopher. Legal. Here I am like an idiot.
action replays in magnified fortune. Action replays in magnified fortune.
Here I am like an idiot.
Action replays in magnified fortune.
Somebody like that can write good. Somebody like that can write good.
I had a beat off. I had a beat off.
Here I am like an idiot. Where's Dick? Hi, Dick. Do we like Dick yet? What?
Dumps. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Many people don't agree. I think most people very much agree.
First new branch of the U.S. Armed Forces in 75 years. Space Force. Not since the end.
A ninth world country, not a third world country. A ninth world country.
Here I am like an idiot.
I was a private business people.
Here I am like an idiot. Free health care for illegal. Here I am like an idiot.
I was a private business people.
Christopher Columbus. Christopher. Legal.
I don't read, obviously.
The Burmese executives. So these, Burmese. Here I am like an idiot.
They say, pronounce it Burmese.
Here I am like an idiot.
Illegal.
I had a beat off. I had a beat off.
Yes.
The numbers should skyrocket downward. I've been involved in the two greatest scams in American history. They said, ooh. I've been involved in the two greatest scams in American history. De-engineering. I think people saw that loud and clear. De-engineering.
I agree. I'm a dope.
De-engineering.